Let's see. Are we streaming? We should be. Do the claps right away, just in case. Pretty sure we're streaming. Says it's recording. I told you guys I was going to do this live. There's probably nobody there yet. Doesn't even matter. Oh, I guess he can see everything. My moderator was like, I'll let you know if I can see everything. He just hung up, so I'm guessing that he can. Let's just get right into it, guys. We got a whole bunch of stories that we're going to go through. Basically, when it comes to this whole live thing, like what I want to do is I just want to start. Oh, I got to be able to see the chat. See, like I'm already messing up, guys. It's all good, though. So I have to be able to see the chat. I want to be able to interact, blah, blah, blah. You guys know the deal. And I think I'm just going to try and do this every day, honestly. I think that's going to be the... Are we actually live? There is a live stream happening. I will put this here, and I'll mute it. Let's see. Beautiful. And it looks like there's no one here. That's fine. Oh, it says 3 people watching. Whatever. All right. Hello, Coach Dominique. Okay, perfect. So I can see that. But I'm just going to play videos. I'm just going to go through it like I normally go through it. And yeah, we're just going to be doing all sorts of videos. There we go. Moderator just said we're live. Beautiful. All right, let's just get into it. What's up? What's up, Zach? Let's just get right into it. We got a whole bunch of stuff. If you haven't seen the claps already, there they are. Sorry if you're wearing headphones. Let's start off with Elon Musk being threatened. There's so much more to this than I can even tell you guys. Let me just get this here. Let me get this right here. There's so much to this. It's crazy. Let's just move over here. Again, you're getting the live experience. Elon Musk being threatened. Bang, let's go. This is the first video. It's absolutely ridiculous. Let's go.
Meantime, Democrats are growing more desperate to stop Elon Musk. In fact, now they are apparently resorting to threats of violence.
Do you think that calling Elon Musk a is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight.
Bring actual weapons to this fight. Meantime, a federal prosecutor is investigating those comments, saying, quote, this sounds to some like a threat to Mr. Musk, an appointed representative of President Donald Trump, who you call an expletive, and government staff who work for him. We take threats against public officials very seriously. Of course, this all comes just days after an Indiana man was also arrested for threatening Musk's life online. And just last week, you may have seen this, Senator Tom Tillis spotted an Eliminate Elon sign displayed on the streets of the nation's capital. And even worse, it doesn't stop there. Get this, a man of the cloth, a pastor, is getting involved.
No one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is the possibility of violence. Sometimes the devil will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent and fight.
You know, sometimes the devil will use those who claim to love the Lord to foment his agenda. Just listening to that is so shocking to me, Tom. I've never heard a pastor suggest that violence in this particular instance, because, first of all, he's suggesting that Elon Musk is trying to steal your Social Security check. I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's crazy, but it sounds crazy. What do you think?
Yeah, and, you know, the first instance we had, you know, talking about the bar fight, in that case, he could have said, you know, I was using tough language. You know, this has happened before. You know, Obama famously said that. You know, you don't bring a knife to a gunfight or whatever, things like that. People use tough language all the time. But this pastor, he came out and said it. He said, we might have to resort to violence.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah, a little ridiculous. And a lot of this talk about compassion. Oh, we need to have compassion for these people that are going through this. Really, you have to have compassion for the American taxpayer, because
that's right.
You know, if we have things that we need to get done, the American taxpayer is reasonable. So if you cut a bunch of jobs and then we say, oh my gosh, that was too much, we need to rehire these people, taxpayers are going to understand that, and they're going to say, as long as they know their money's going to a good place. So he starts with the sledgehammer and the chainsaw, and then we can pare it back from there.
Arthel, what do you think?
Man, this black guy, I've never seen this guy on Fox. This guy's whiter than I am. Very, very white sounding man. Very, very nice. Very nice. He must have worked on that for a long time. I think what we have with this pastor right here, let's see him again. This is a pastor, and it happens from time to time. Allegedly, maybe, ended up at a Diddy party. Maybe that's just what happened, That's what I think every time. When I hear a pastor who has talking points and he's talking about the treasury, hey, you went to a Diddy party. It's cool. It's fine. It's fine. Don't know what happened to you, but now you got to say things like this. That's just what happens. So there's more than just this guy here. If you don't know who this guy is, look him up. He is male AOC. It's absolutely ridiculous, the type of things that he says, but he's not the only one who's threatening Trump and Trump supporters. We have somebody here in Texas. So disappointing that this is happening in Texas. You have a drag queen here threatening the lives of a Trump supporter in the crowd, or what they thought was a Trump supporter.
By the way, if any of y'all voted for Trump, please don't tell us. No, don't tell us. Or do, and do y'all sacrifice? Do y'all do that? Did we start? He voted for Trump?
No, I said the Church of Satan.
Okay, because I will kill him.
No, I said the Church of Satan. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, no, I'm affiliated with that. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. But if you voted for Trump, it's a big problem.
I went down to Austin like a year and a half ago with some other drag queens to, fist fight Greg Abbott, but he wouldn't stand up and fight me. And I'll be honest, I think the easiest thing that we can do with the money that we raise is just take away those wheelchair ramps and just not let him have access to the floor.
There you go. There you go. Solid talk from someone in this community talking about satanic sacrifice, and then also, just talking about fighting Greg Abbott. He couldn't stand up. Kind of funny joke, I guess. Anyway, we have another person here who actually attacked a Trump supporter. Obviously, I'm not going to show you the attack, but we'll show you the aftermath.
Oh, break on you 3 feet, my ass.
Okay, yeah. Of course, I have it at that speed. Listen, live or not, you're going to see me at that speed, all right?
You're going to jail, bro. Lucky I don't want to go to jail.
You and Tifa.
You think it's all right to spray paint somebody, bro? Hey,
this guy just came up and spray painted him and his camera and everything.
This guy. In the hoodie right here.
Stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Put your back down. Step over here with me. Stop, put the bag down.
Consent to a search.
Put the bag down.
Spray paint in his bag.
All right.
He said, I don't consent to a search. Hey, man, you just assaulted somebody. That part's done.
It's blue. It's all over my phone.
Stay right there.
All over my glasses. All over the side of my head.
So you got his phone? You get on recording?
I was pointed away from him, but it's all over my phone, all over my glasses.
You have it on you?
I have it on my video.
You really thought that was the thing to do. Smile. There he is. There he is. For sure. I don't even know if he's an Antifa member. Antifa, they're usually a lot smarter. They usually spray paint things in black. I don't know. This guy, he's spray painting people in the face with blue spray paint, Antifa, I don't like Antifa, but They usually specialize in, burning down city blocks, but this guy thought that was a good thing to do. I'm telling you, man, I've said it 100 times on this channel. When people encounter someone who's a Trump supporter, they just decide that that person's Trump. As soon as you're just in front of their face and you're just like, yeah, I supported Trump. And what's the big problem? I like Donald Trump. He seems like a great guy, greatest president in my life. That's what they hear from you. Your voice changes, your hair turns blonde. That's exactly what they think. And they attack you like you're Donald Trump because they will never have the opportunity to be in front of Donald Trump and do something like that to him. But that's not all. There's another guy calling for violence towards President Trump.
Listen, all the Elon Trump stuff, it's getting to a point, man. It's getting like somebody is going to have to, preferably someone who's already doing it, so one of y'all. But somebody's going to have to just throw their life away on this one, just kind of take one for the team, just somebody has got to just, kind of get in there and go make history. You know who you are. You know who you are. So just buck up and do your duty, Listen, all the Elon...
Can you imagine? There might be a guy out there that's on the edge, and then all of a sudden, this guy looks into the camera and says, you know who you are. Come on. You can do it. You have no idea what you're doing. That's why usually I don't like it when they're like tagging the FBI and Secret Service, but I don't know, man. They need to do something about this. Here's another one.
For the person out there who's planning on doing it, the thing that we all wake up every day hoping we'll see in the news, and we're like, man, no one's done it yet. Keep going. Your plan, it's gonna work. If not, it'll inspire the next person, and we are all rooting for you. You have our support. You have our admiration. We might make a national holiday out of you, and I will definitely put money on your books. And if you're into this sort of thing, I'll write you some letters of the naughty sort, should you find yourself behind bars for it. But we're all rooting for you and hoping that you do it quickly and get away with it. Power to the people.
That's the payment. I'll write you letters of the naughty sort. Hey, that's not enough. I'm just saying. You shouldn't do it at all. But that's a terrible bargain. Just a terrible bargain. I'll write you some nice letters. For now, I have to go to Starbucks because I got like a job and everything. I got some things to do. But if you decide to go to jail, we'll make a national holiday out of you. That's the type of thing we're seeing more and more of. And this isn't even all. I'm not even going to show it because it's just too much. But all over Reddit, I was watching Asmon Gold. All over Reddit, there's all these people who are actually trying to organize. There was a lady who actually tried to organize. She was saying, we'll go here. I have fire. She was trying to organize something to actually go after Trump. There's multiple people calling for violence. They're not getting banned on Reddit or anything like that. This is crazy. They want the names of the DOGE team. Why are regular people fighting? Donald Trump's like, I just saved the country $100 billion. And they're like, and that's why he has to go. Isn't that right? That's why he has to go. Elon Musk, the DOGE team, they want their names. They want their addresses. They're actually trying to organize, figure it out. It's pretty crazy to see taking place. I just don't get it. I don't get it. They're the same people, and I knew it would happen too. I knew it would happen. They're the same people. I knew when RFK was like, oh, we're going to come in and, we're going to clean up the water. I was like, there's going to be people fighting for the water not to be clean. And the second RFK is like, we're going to remove the fluoride. People are like, oh, what about my teeth? What about my teeth, though? Wait, hold on. Brush your teeth, bro. Let's clean the water. It's fine. Brush your teeth. Go to the dentist. I don't know. Jeez, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. I knew the second they started saving people money and offering people $5,000 checks, I was like, oh, people are going to be up in arms about this. Somehow up in arms about this. I hope those people don't get checks. I hope somebody's categorizing all these people. None of them get checks. None. They just get letters that say, what have you done this week? What is that? All right, let's get into Tom Homan. Moving on. That's what I was told to say. I have to say that for the editor. Moving on, Tom Homan. He was not playing. He was speaking at CPAC, and he had some wild stuff to say. First off, he's talking about going after Boston. I think he's going after the governor or the mayor. Listen to this.
I read a story last night, the police commissioner of Boston. You said you doubled down on not helping the law enforcement officers of ICE. I'm coming to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me.
This guy might run for president. You might end up seeing this guy run for president. I don't know how old he is. You know, I imagine he's probably like 10 years younger than Trump, maybe more. But he might run for president, and he might just win. The way that he talks, the fact he's also from New York, he's worked in all sorts of law enforcement, right up to being the director of ICE, border czar, police officer in New York City. His dad was a police officer. His grandfather was a police officer. This guy might end up running and becoming president. I could completely see it happening, you know? Obviously, I think I want to see Vance be president, but I think this guy would dominate. Just the way he talks, just so straightforward.
I looked at the numbers this morning. I stopped counting at 9. 9 child rapists that were in jail in Massachusetts, but rather than honoring an ICE detainer, released them back into the street. You're not a police commissioner. Take that badge off your chest, put it in the desk drawer. Because you became a politician, you forgot what it's like to be a cop.
So straightforward. Even Trump was at CPAC too. He was like, look at Tom. How can I love a guy like this? But I do. I love him. Oh my gosh. Let's go through more of his remarks. That's just how he capped it off. You know what I mean? Let's listen to the rest of his remarks.
I get asked all the time, does it bother you as a big part of this country that hates your guts? I don't care. I don't care. Because we got a job to do. You know, I wake up every day for the last 4 years pissed off because the Reid administration took the most secure border in my lifetime and unsecured it on purpose. Right? I worked for 6 presidents, starting with Ronald Reagan. Every president I ever worked for took steps to secure the border. Even Clinton and Obama took steps to secure the border because they clearly understood you can't have national security without border security. They got it. Joe Biden's the first president in history of the nation who came into office and unsecured the border on purpose. So for 4 years, I wake up every day pissed off. That changed November 5th. Now I wake up every day excited because I work for the greatest president of my lifetime, Donald J. Trump. For 4 years, we had over 10.5 million illegal aliens at our border. They released nearly 8 million into the country illegally. We had a 600% increase in sex trafficking in women and children. We had a record number of known suspected terrorists and people on the terrorist watch list crossing the border. Under Trump, we had 14 in 4 years. Under Joe Biden, just shy of 400. Think about that for a moment. What Joe Biden did to our border was create the most significant public safety and national security vulnerability in this nation's history. But guess what? We got one badass president now who's going to come in and is going to take care of this border.
When it comes to politicians, I usually don't have to worry about them swearing. This guy's the only one because he's not a politician. Usually I'm like, oh, let's watch the video. There's no telling with Tom Homan. He'll say whatever he wants. Somebody said Tom 2028. Yeah, that just might happen. That just might happen. I could see Trump endorsing this guy 100%. 100%. Someone said, what's up, Coach Jay Underwood? What's up, man? Glitch TV, he reminds me of Hank from Breaking Bad. He's Hank from Breaking Bad, but he would have caught Walter White right away. He would have said to him, I'm the one who knocks. He would have said that to him. He would have been that guy. He would have looked at him and said, tread lightly. That's what he would have done. Like, no problem. Would have arrested him right there in front of his whole family, in front of his son. Dad, what's going on? Just would have arrested him, no problem. Wouldn't have ended up like Hank from Breaking Bad, I can tell you that much.
Look at the numbers last few days. I'm telling you, every morning I get up, I can't wait to go to work. Because I know that I have a president who's going to open up every avenue of law enforcement to this great nation. In under 4 weeks, we have illegal crossings on the border down 95%. I remember when the president called me and said, I remember he called me when he brought me, this is the second time I came out of retirement for this man. So he called me, I remember I was the first guy he called, and he says, okay, this is how the phone call went. I picked up one, I see POTUS on my cell phone, so I know it was Trump. He says, all right, Tom, you've been bitching about it 4 years, you want to come fix it? And I didn't hesitate. I said, I'll come back and I'll do it for free. I'm so pissed off. You don't have to pay me. And look, in less than a month, illegal crossings down 95%. ICE has arrested over 21,000 people in the nation.
You know, 21,000. People were talking about this 21,000. They were doing the math and how that won't be enough, since it's speculated that anywhere from 13 to 20 million have gotten into the country in 4 years, if you did the math on the 21,000. So it actually has to go up tremendously in order for them to extract everybody that came in under Biden. And a lot of people are speculating that they won't be able to do it. I don't know what they're going to do to up it. Recently, they fired, I think it was a person who was just below Tom. They fired that person recently. I don't know who they're going to replace him with, but apparently Trump and probably Tom himself were upset with the numbers and they wanted more. So we'll see what actually happens with that, because you would have to get it to a good 250,000 a month to even really dent the number of people that came in. Even 250,000, I mean, you might have to, like 500,000 really, if you really wanted to get everybody out. But some people are getaways. There's millions of getaways. If you don't know what a getaway is, they're just a person who didn't have to go through Border Patrol. They snuck in undetected completely. And there's millions of those. So it's hard to even detect. People always say there's like 330 million people in the United States of America. I would say it's probably 400 million. Probably. This isn't the first time there's been getaways. I mean, 400 million is like conservative.
Gotaways. Under President Biden, the gotaways, 2.2 million people crossed the border, weren't arrested because the Border Patrol was too busy making sandwiches, changing diapers, making baby formula, making hospital runs, dealing with humanitarian crisis. 2.2 million people crossed the border and weren't apprehended, weren't fingerprinted. We had about 1,800 a day in 2023. You know how many had yesterday? 48. You're talking about 2,000 miles of border and only 48 people escaped, but that's 48 too many. I'm not going to be happy if that number is 0. Now we're getting a question, well, you said you're going to concentrate on public safety threats and national security threats, but you arrested non-criminals. Yeah, damn right we did. Because you're in the country illegally, which happens to be a violation of our law. Entering this country illegally is a crime, and we're not going to forgive it.
This guy is the best. He's the best. You said you weren't going to, you're going to, yeah, that is what I said. I knew he was going to do that too. He was like, we're only going to go after the criminals. And everybody was like, okay. And he's like, and everyone who came across illegally is a criminal, 100%. Someone said, Coach is live base. Have you seen the ETH whistleblower trend? No, I haven't seen anything like that. I haven't been looking into crypto. I don't look into crypto. I watch you every day. You're great, man. Keep up the great work. Friend from San Francisco. Oh my gosh. San Francisco. What's going on? You okay? You okay? I always ask that to people from California. Are you all right? Are you sure you're all right? I know it's good weather, but the communism. You better vote for that other guy to be governor. Love your channel, bro. Keep up the great work. Hey, if you guys have any suggestions on what to watch, let me know, because I can pull stuff up. Don't bother sending any links, because I'm such a mistrusting person. But I'll be sure to like click on some stuff.
Into sanctuary cities, game on, because Pam Bondi's back into place. And Kash Patel is back running the FBI. President Trump brought together one hell of a team, and every time I see one of these people get nominated and take their oath for office, I just get that much more excited. I'm afraid I'm going to have a heart attack one of these days because it just keeps getting better. Sanctuary cities are a sanctuary for criminals. I've read all these stories this week. Tom Homan insulted AOC. Well, look, it's not an insult if it's true. She says Homan has no game, he has nothing on me. Look, you can claim you're educating people according to their constitutional rights. I think she's a long ways away from being a constitutional scholar myself. Bottom line is, we know what the game is. You can claim you're educating people to their rights, but we know what the end game is. Try to tell people how to invade law enforcement. And we're talking about people who enter the country illegally, which is a crime, committed a violent act against a U.S. citizen, were ordered removed by a judge. We got members of Congress saying it's okay to educate them how to invade law enforcement. We're not making this shit up. We're enforcing the laws enacted by Congress. And we're not going to apologize for it. Not under this administration. We got great governors out there. Governor Pritzker, you ain't one of them. I met with Governor DeSantis yesterday. You know what he's done? He's passed one of the strongest state immigration laws in this nation. Do you know it's a crime in the state of Arizona, in the state of Florida? It is a crime to enter the country illegally. He made his own state law. He has passed a law that he will fire any mayor or sheriff that doesn't help ICE enforce immigration law.
DeSantis is constantly just such a solid example of a governor. He's just so incredible how he does things. You know, I suspected him of being a Trojan horse when he was running for president just because of certain things he was saying. But man, every single time he just comes through. He also, I was actually going to cover it. He started his own DOGE tax task force just recently. He's trying to pretty much audit himself and his state. He's trying to get rid of agencies. Like, this guy just follows suit. He sees what Trump's doing and he just follows the way. Same thing with this immigration stuff. He just decides, oh, okay, is that what we're doing? Okay, cool. I'll do it. No problem. You know? But Byron Donalds is up for governor. You know that? Byron Donalds might be the governor of Florida. Trump endorsed him. Heavy endorsement. Solid endorsement. Byron Donalds hasn't even announced it yet. And Trump was like, run. You should do it. You have my support. Wild. J.D. Vance didn't even get Trump support in running for president. But he endorsed Byron Donalds. I can't wait to see what happens there. I think you guys get the point with this one. Let's move on. Let's see what the next one is. What else we got here? I got it super zoomed in. Yeah, the drag queens and whatnot. Oh, what have you accomplished this week? This one right here. I love to see it. I love to see it. Someone said, hell yeah, we're doing it live. F it. We're doing it live. F it. We're doing it live. Okay? What we're doing right now, we're doing it live. Okay? A lot of these guys you see, they don't do it live. They say they do it live, but then you write in the chat, they don't say anything back. They're not doing it live. They're playing videos and saying that they're live, okay? This is what I've heard at least. Anyway, let's get into also everything that's posted on X. If you're on X, I repost everything to X. That way you don't have to hear me talk if you don't want to. You can just hop on my X. Everything's there. It's just a regurgitation of this channel if you're into that. Let's jump over to this. Elon Musk right away is calling people out. So he says he's uncovering immense fraud. What happened is Elon Musk was like, hey, President Trump, we should just do this. We should just send an email and say, what have you accomplished? Tell us 5 things you've accomplished this week. And if they don't respond, they're fired. And Trump was like, okay, sounds cool. Let's see what happens. And Elon's reasoning for this, he said, the reason this matters is it's a significant number of people who are supposed to be working for the government are doing so little work that they're not even checking their emails at all. In some cases, we believe non-existent people or the identities of dead people are being used to collect paychecks. In other words, this is outright fraud. I don't know how they're hearing this. The dead people part, that sounds crazy, but Elon's just so smart that I can't say no when he says something. I'm like, he must have heard. It's just like when Trump says something. You know how many times Trump says something and people go, oh no, that's nonsense. That's complete nonsense. It's like, he has smart people around him. He's not just saying things to say them. He's talked this out with a bunch of people, like a bunch. It's like, you just don't know about it, you know? So I think he might have heard something. I think he might know something. I just saw a clip of Joy Reid. I can't wait to move on to the Joy Reid topic, but we're going to cover this first. Oh man, here's Trump actually talking about the whole thing here. Let's jump over here. With Macron standing next to him. I so don't like Macron. I don't forget what happened just like 2 years ago with France and this guy, he's European Trudeau. Actually, most politicians in Europe are Trudeau, but this guy's European Trudeau. Like, they're best friends. And he's WEF. He's just, anyway, let's just listen to what Trump has to say here.
Could benefit from more streamlined communications. There was that email telling employees to give 5 things that they've done last week. Agency heads then told people to ignore it.
You're talking about the last email that was sent where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. They're trying to find, that's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group. So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And, you know, where is all this? Where's the money gone? We have found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far, and we've just started. We're actually going to Fort Knox to see if the gold is there, because maybe somebody stole the gold. Tons of gold. So I think it was actually, there was a lot of genius in sending it. We're trying to find out if people are working. And so we're sending a letter to people, please tell us what you did last week. If people don't respond, it's very possible that there is no such person or they're not working.
All right, so somebody here said, I don't think every federal employee should have to send emails. Depends on the job. No, it doesn't depend on the job, because every single job, you have to accomplish something. So that's the main thing. They want to know what it is that they're doing every single week. Because if somebody pops up and says, I didn't do anything, well, then they have to analyze that job and be like, well, how much do you get paid? Why were we paying you? What did you do if you didn't do anything towards your job? And then on top of that, all of them should have the time to send emails. Even if you're a field agent in the FBI, you still have to correspond with emails every single morning. You're probably getting, you're getting hundreds of emails, you know, not a day or anything, but, you know, through the course of a month, you're corresponding with people constantly. If you're not, then what they're suspecting is that you're working another job, you're working from home, working another job, and you're not really dialed into what you have to do because no one's been questioning you, because the last president was a corpse. And when the president's a corpse, he doesn't tell you he doesn't ask you anything, you know? When it's just Tony Blinken working your arms like a puppet, you know, nobody, you know, Kamala's just, she's in the back, big bottle of something, you know? So everybody actually does have to send the email. Somebody else said, become a streamer. Of course I'm going to become a streamer. I'm doing it right now. This is it, man. This is it, man. I'm doing it. Okay. Anyway, yeah, every single person has to answer these emails. And we're going to cover one person who actually did answer the emails. I love this. Well, I shouldn't say I love this guy, but I love his answer to everything. This is what Eric, I call him Waddell, because that's what I like to call him, but it's Eric Swaddle. So this is what he said he did when it came to answering this email. He said, "Dear Doge, this is what I did for the country last week. Fought fascism, fought fascism, fought fascism, fought fascism, fought fascism. Go F yourself, Eric Waddell." That's what I call him. But that's not going to fly, Eric. You know? That's actually what he sent in. This guy, if you don't know, this guy is nervous. I don't care what anybody says. I'm going to show you some stuff right now. This gentleman is very nervous, not just because of these emails, because of everything going on right now. Check out this. Here, let me just play this. Okay. For some reason, he's sitting with Al Sharpton. Hey. Why are we all pretending Al Sharpton's a journalist? Why are we all doing that? Why are we all doing that? What's going on? Why is he sitting there doing this? What's going on? Oh my gosh. Anyway, this is what this Eric Swaddell
and the gender to which they were born.
Now, Trump's new FBI director was sworn in yesterday. One of his first acts was to move thousands of agents to field offices and a campus in Huntsville, Alabama. Relocating FBI agents isn't unprecedented, but it's also unclear what this administration is hoping to accomplish with the moves. You've been a critic of Patel. What should Americans be watching for in the early days of his tenure?
We're not safe with Kash Patel. He has absolutely zero experience to lead this job. He also is presiding over an FBI where before he took office, he was helping clear out and fire agents who are responsible for fighting terrorism, fighting public corruption, fighting money laundering, fighting child sex trafficking. And so we've put in somebody who's unqualified. His only qualification is that he has promised to go after Donald Trump's enemies. I know a thing or two about that because this guy wrote a book declaring who the enemies are of the government, and he made a list of 100 people. And on top of that list, he put me and Adam Schiff. So that's who this guy is, if you want to know a thing or two about him. But it's not about me. It's not about anyone else on this list. It's about whether Americans are going to be safe with someone unqualified who's out for vengeance.
They always say, I'm looking out for all Americans. This guy is after me for things that I did, but believe you me, I'm just looking out for all Americans right now. That's all this is. You can trust me 100%. I fought fascism all last week, just so you know. Eric, you got to tell us what you actually did. That's definitely what's going to happen. Someone's going to be like, Eric, we saw the email and it was great. You responded. Fantastic. But you said you fought fascism. You put it 5 times. Okay. So we'll accept it as 1, but we need another 4. He's going to be like, you're racist. Eric, we knew this was going to happen. You just have to tell us what you did all week. I'm not explaining this to you. I was on X reeling at Elon Musk. Okay. So that doesn't count. Okay, Eric.
You remember
4 other things that you did, Eric. Here's another clip of Eric. I'm telling you, this guy's nervous. Nervous as Adam Schiff. Even more so because he did this.
You're a member of Judiciary. Do you believe the president right now has been an agent of the Russians?
Yes, I think there's more evidence than he is. Yes, and I think all the arrows point in that direction, and I haven't seen a single piece of evidence that he's not.
An agent like in the 1940s where you had people who are Reds, to use an old term, like that. In other words, working for a foreign power.
He's working on behalf of the Russians, yeah.
Okay. You're a member of Judiciary. Do you...
He thought he could just say that and get away with it. I don't know. Kash Patel's really mad. Kash Patel's mad like it happened to him. So... I don't know. You can't just say someone's working with the Russians and not explain it. I mean, whoever orchestrated this, Hillary, they really put this guy on Front Street and Adam Schiff. They really pushed them to the front lines and was like, do it, say it, don't worry. You know, Hillary kind of danced around. Hillary was like, you know, that's what I hear. And she made sure to keep herself kind of safe. But this guy's like, I have seen no evidence that tells me to the counter. But what he left out is he didn't see any evidence, period. Oh, someone said again, same person. They're like, oh, it depends on the job when it comes to the whole email thing. Tell me what job you don't have to send emails and you don't have to explain yourself. What job? What job? The president is, he's streaming every day, the president. Every day he's tweeting. He's just out there. He's a social media influencer on top of being the president. And he's explaining what he's doing every step of the way. Even when he has a meeting, he has cameras in there. Who doesn't have to explain themselves in the government? What job? Even USAID has to explain themselves. They didn't want to, but they did have to. You do have to explain yourself when you... What job do you have where you don't have to explain myself? My wife is even going to come and ask me what I did today, and there's nothing I can do about it. I can't just be like, oh, I fought fascism. Oh, I was fighting against the left. She's going to be like, tell me what you did to make the family money. And I'm going to have to explain to her, okay? And the explanations are going to have to be good. They can't just be, I can't just say one-word things. She's going to want to know what I'm doing. Because if I'm not doing anything here, she's going to be like, go do Uber Eats again. Go back to being a food delivery guy. And I'm going to have to do it, all right? This is the way it works. Nobody's... What did Biden say? Nobody's above the law. Nobody's above the law. Not even my uncle who got eaten by cannibals. I saw it, you know. What else did Eric have to say here? Oh, this is the last thing. I gotta watch this. Hold on. I gotta move through this a little bit. He swears so much because he's so scared of what's going on. Here's his explanation of what he's been doing.
Going to the courts and keep supporting individuals and organizations who are fighting in the courts. I want to flag for you Democracy Forward and Democracy Docket is two amazing organizations. Democracy Docket, you probably know through Mark Elias. They are in the courts. They're going after every unconstitutional executive order. They're fighting. They're stalling. It's a speed bump to stop this damage. It's not the long-term solution. I don't need to teach you civics to tell you that once these things are appealed and they make their way to the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court, it goes to a Supreme Court that said that Donald Trump has absolute immunity. So that's a bit of a problem. But in the near term, right now, those organizations are doing such important work. In the Congress, we have Judicial Task Force. Jamie Raskin is leading one. Joe Neguse is leading one. I'm a part of them. I'm helping them out.
They're going to be like, Eric, we saw you did like an 11-minute video and you posted on X. Just really not in your job description. We're just wondering if you're going to be doing anything else. You also aren't wearing suits anymore. We're just wondering what's going on with you. I was fighting fascism. Go F yourself. Okay, Eric, we're not going to accept that language. You know better, don't you? All right, let's move on. Because a lot of those... Here's my guess. 1,000 employees are going to get fired because they couldn't explain what they were doing, and they're going to frame it as they're standing up to Trump by not answering this email. That's what I think. That's what's going to happen. 1,000 at least are going to get fired from that. That's what I think. Anyway, I got to move on here because, oh, man. Whew. This makes me all sorts of happy. Oh, there she is. Hello, lady. Oh, Joy Reid got fired the other day. And listen, I'm not happy that she got fired, okay? You know, it was always very inspiring to see someone being so racist on national television and just getting promotions and making millions of dollars. It was pretty solid to see. So I just want to play this really quick. Here she is. She's talking about getting fired. Again. I am not celebrating this. I'm not happy about this. I'm not. I can't put the smile away, but I'm not. I'm not happy about it. Not at all. But let's hear what she has to say.
My show had value. and that that what I was doing had value. And in the end, I'm sorry, I try not to cry on TV. And this is kind of like me on TV, so I apologize. And that it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life.
Literally just talking about propaganda points. Wow. She's like, I went hard. I followed the script. The person would come in, okay? They looked like a lizard humanoid person. They would hand me the script. Their tongue was long enough to lick their eyeball. They would say, you have to say this today. And then they would walk away and I'd say everything I was told to say. My show had value. She once compared, there's something called White Boy Summer. White Boy Summer is just when white guys have fun. It's pretty much every summer, But she compared these guys who were having fun. That's it. Nothing political. She compared them to Nazis. Okay. My show had value. She once said that Joe Biden getting over a virus was the same as President Trump getting shot and almost killed. Okay. Let's hear the rest.
Life and defended them, or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, defending books that people find inconvenient, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of this country, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. And I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Wow. Well, I guess be proud of the show. I mean, listen, you made millions of dollars. Like, that's something, right? That's a tough thing to do, especially completely making stuff up all the time. That's hard. She's basically like J.K. Rowling's. She's a black J.K. Rowling's. Someone said, Greg said, I'm going to miss out on the gift. No more Joy Reid content to react to. Listen here. You have no idea how many people in the comments would be like, stop playing Joy Reid. I would have to give a warning before I showed her. I would have to warn people. Most people click off the video. If it was more than a minute long, even right now, I don't know. I probably lost half the audience over this clip. She wasn't a gift, man. I'm telling you. Anyway, that's Joy Reid. She's very upset. But listen, like I said in the video where I covered this when it first happened, she's in front of a microphone. She's doing her thing. Some dude came and handed her a tissue. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's a producer or something. Something's going on. She's gonna keep on making videos, I guess. So I don't know, man. I think if she just goes, she can go one of two ways. If she just goes completely unhinged, just unhinged, wild. I mean, she's already so openly racist. So if she just does that, I think she'll probably do well. She probably will. You never know. Keep your tinfoil Speedo on. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how deep this rabbit hole goes. That is the media. That is the Mockingbird media. They could easily have done this to position her to be the competition for Joe Rogan. Black lady, bald, blonde, right? This could easily be Joe Rogan's competition, and maybe they'll just gas her up. I don't know. I have no idea. Or here's the other way she could go. She could go completely like Tucker Carlson. If I would have all the respect in the world for her, imagine if Joy Reid decided to be a whistleblower on the mainstream media. If she started talking about who gave her talking points, how they were telling her to do these videos, what they were telling her to do. Just imagine she just opened up about MSNBC and how everything works, what politicians would call her, who was trying to give her money. If she just came out and said everything, what was happening behind the scenes when Biden was running, if she knew, if the network was telling her not to talk about Biden harshly, or, if she just became a complete whistleblower, that'd be it. That'd be it. Let me tell you something. The right is very forgiving, like Tulsi used to be DNC vice chair, or she might've been like head, but the right is very forgiving if you're gonna, change your ways and do what's right. And if she did that, I would watch it. I'd listen to it. I would have a whole new respect. I'd be like, this is amazing. I can't believe this. Tucker did it a little bit. Tucker was like, I know about this person and this person who gets their talking points from the NSA. And, he even tried to kind of touch on Wolf Blitzer being somebody who gets his talking points from somewhere. And he said he knows for a fact that the senior, I think it was like national security correspondent, was getting their talking points from, unscrupulous places, or, I should say unorganized places. So Tucker touched on it a little bit. But we need somebody to come out and just be a full-blown mainstream whistleblower. Chris Cuomo didn't do it at all. Chris Cuomo's like, nothing happened over there, and I didn't do anything wrong, and I don't see why I should apologize to anybody. He's the worst. He's worse than Don Lemon. But if she does that, she'll have a place somewhere. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, 100%. Hey, hope you're onto something. This was going to be an oral resume. She won't do that. This was her doing an oral resume. She won't do that. You never know. She might with age. Who knows? If she doesn't get back, she might go the Don Lemon way. Somebody's saying the Don Lemon way. Yeah, 100%. But she might be mad. You know what I mean? Don Lemon's soft. Joy Reid is an African black lady, not even African American. She's just she's not even. I don't even think she was born in America. She's African. She might be really angry and decide, like, I'm just going to go off on everybody. I'm not getting any more corporation money. I'm not getting any pharma money anymore. And she might just go off on everybody. Who knows? Oh, man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what's next for her. Probably nothing. Let's be honest. But I figured I would show you guys that. That was something I was excited about, I have to say. I was excited about this. The DOGE task force. Yeah, let's have Ron DeSantis talk about the DOGE task force that he has. The thing about him, he's boring. He's boring to listen to. You know that? He does great things, but he's boring. But anyway, let's just hear what he has to say really quick.
Citizens to higher taxes, such as higher property taxes, to pay for these spending habits. And, these property taxes, it's like you buy a home, you buy land, maybe you buy the home outright, but maybe you pay off a mortgage over 30 years. And then, okay, you've paid off the mortgage, you bought the land, you've been taxed many times. It's like, is it your property or not? Just for being on your property, you got to write a check to the government every year. So you're basically paying rent to the government to live on your own property. And our homestead exemption is not strong enough to help these folks, because the property gets assessed so high. And that's the thing. If you buy a home for $300,000 and there's certain tax, well, then what? 10 years later, they say it's worth $700,000. And so, and they say, there's homestead stuff that helps protect you to a certain extent, but you're paying more. And a lot of people can't afford that. So I think that that's a big issue. And I know we're going to be really looking at ways to bring people relief from that, because I think it's been really something that's pinching a lot of homeowners, particularly seniors on fixed income. But the reality is people have seen, and this is not the state, we don't control this, we've not allowed any of that stuff to happen. We've been cutting taxes, but people have seen their property tax liability go up over these last years because the property is being assessed higher and higher. And the reality is you don't really know how much your home is worth until someone offers you money and is willing to pull the trigger on a sale. That's how a market works. You can say it's worth this much, but if no one's willing to come and offer you that much, then why should you pay taxes on that amount?
Let's go. I'm down for this. This is great. Wow. Real estate in Florida. Go get it. If this guy's going to make it so there's no more property tax, that's crazy. He sounded like a libertarian. He goes, you're paying the government. It's a big scam. Are you a governor? Are you a podcaster? Are you okay? I like it, though. I like it. I think that's solid. I can't wait. And here's the thing. Byron Donalds is going to be running probably against this guy. Do you think that he could beat Byron Donalds? Or you think Byron Donalds could beat him? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think so myself. I think Byron Donalds would have a rough go because all people have watched Ron DeSantis do is the best possible thing in pretty much every situation, except when he ran for president. He shouldn't have done that. He should have just stayed a governor and just done his thing. But other than that, the way he handled the pandemic, he's like coughing each other's mouths. What's the big deal? I don't understand what everybody's all so uptight about. And now he's like, property tax, this is ridiculous. Let's audit ourselves. I think I'm going to audit myself, see if I've done anything wrong. Okay. Sounds good to me. All right, let's pick up here. What's going on? I don't know if I want to. Macron, Trump believes that the war could end in weeks. I just don't like Macron. Trump is talking to Macron.
All right, and here's President Trump and French President Emmanuel Macron.
Here, let's hear what's going on here.
Well, thank you very much. We very much appreciate the attention. Today's a big day in that we had a G7 and President Macron, who's a very special man in my book. We were together. We did it together. And I think a lot of progress has been made. We've had some very good talks with Russia. We've had some very good talks with others, and we're trying to get the war ended with Russia and Ukraine. And I think we've come a long way in a short period of weeks. And the president's been very helpful also. And we're also talking about trade, various trade deals that we will be doing with France. And we'll be discussing a little bit further. Then we'll have a press conference later on. You can ask some questions. We'll be having a press conference in a little while. We're going to have lunch with the entire French staff, and we look forward to it. And again, the relationship's been very special with France and very special with this gentleman on my right. And we look forward to keeping that going for a long period of time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Listen, I want to get to the fight.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sir. And I think the U.S. and France always
and you've done
very close.
Good.
1 yard line.
All right, good.
Mr.
Mr. President.
What?
Would a minerals deal include a security guarantee for Ukraine?
Well, it'll be Europe is going to make sure that nothing happens. I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. I think once we settle, there's going to be no more war in Ukraine, and you're not going to have it. It's not going to be a very big problem. That's going to be the least of it.
Mr. President, we're hearing from some Greek media reporting that the U.S. has agreed to shut down a military base in Greece that's been a logistical hub for NATO.
That who shut down?
That the U.S. has agreed to shut it down at the request of Turkey and Russia. Is that at all true?
Marco, do you have anything to say about that?
Sir, that's a no. That's a no, sir. Mr. President. Mr. President.
Is it a no?
It's a no, sir.
It's not a correct story.
Thank you.
Mr. President, how do you react to people in Europe who say that you are abandoning Ukraine and that you are going to sacrifice the security of Ukraine by making a deal with Vladimir Putin?
No, we're helping Ukraine like nobody's ever helped Ukraine before. And I can say this, if I didn't become president, Ukraine would right now still be at a level where there would be no even thinking about a peace. And it was, it's a sad thing that this happened. This would have never happened, this war, if I were president. Zero chance. And it has happened. So my function is to get you out of the war, get them out of the war, let them live. It's a bloody war. It's a horrible war. Thousands of people are being killed a week. And I would say Russia, maybe 700,000 people. I think Ukraine, probably a similar number. And that's not talking about the towns and the cities that have been blown up. That's talking about soldiers. This has been a horrible, bloody mess. And we're going to get it solved. We got to get it solved. And, you know, we're not talking about America's soldiers, soldiers from this country. We're talking about Russia and Ukraine. But on a humanitarian basis, we have to get this very, very bloody, savage problem solved. And I will say this also, it could lead to World War III if it's not solved. You know, there'll be a point at which it's not going to stop at those two countries. Already there's such involvement from other countries. And it could really lead to a very big war, World War III. And we're not going to let that happen either.
Would you support the idea to send European troops in Ukraine to back the ceasefire?
European troops may go into Ukraine as peacemakers. So when the agreement is done, they can watch that everything is followed properly. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And a lot of the European countries, I think, I don't want to speak for France, but I know that the president's talked about doing that also. I think that'll be a very good day when we can go in as peacekeepers as opposed to what's going on right now with everybody being killed.
Will they have U.S. backing, those troops going into Ukraine? Will they have U.S. backing from U.S. troops?
Well, we're going to have a backing of some kind, and obviously the European countries are going to be involved. And I don't think you're going to need much backing. I think that's not going to be a problem. Once an agreement is signed, Russia's going to get back to its business, and Ukraine and Europe are going to get back to their business. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Mr. President,
you talk about DOGE?
Will President Zelenskyy soon?
What?
Will you meet with President Zelenskyy soon?
I will be meeting with President Zelenskyy. In fact, he may come in this week or next week to sign the agreement, and which would be nice. I'd love to meet him. Would meet at the Oval Office. So the agreement's being worked on now. They're very close to a final deal. It'll be a deal with rare earths and various other things, and he would like to come, as I understand it, here to sign it, and that would be great with me. I think they then have to get it approved by their council or whoever might approve it, but I'm sure that will happen.
When it comes to President Macron, did you hear that? When it comes to Zelenskyy, I completely forgot that Zelenskyy did this. My sad friend there. I can't wait to meet her one day. Zelenskyy was like, I don't even recognize that I owe the United States any money. I gotta see this. Hold on. Zelenskyy, hold on. Oh, see, here's the real pressure. Spelling things right in front of everybody. Oh, man. Debt. Let's see. He was like, I don't even recognize that we owe money. Yeah. There it is. Let me see this. Let me play this for you guys. No, of course I want the English version. What's going on with people?
І це факт. Я не збираю. Я знаю, що у нас було 100. І це факт. Я не збираюсь визнавати 500. Хто б що не говорив, як би ми не спілкувались.
Let me just narrate here since he's not speaking English.
І це факт.
How dare you come on our social media sites and not speak English? I'm just saying. I know that we had 100, he's talking about billion, and that's a fact. I'm not going to recognize 500 billion, no matter what anyone says, no matter how we communicate, with all due respect, again, with all due respect to the partners, I'm standing firm because this is a true situation. We are absolutely right. The second situation, to be honest, even 100 billion, I'm not even willing to fix. Let me explain why. Hold on. Let me explain why. Hold on. Because we would not recognize grants as debts. Do you like it or not? I negotiated with Biden and negotiated with Congress of the United States of America. I am grateful to Congress. It was president of the two parties. He's just saying he doesn't owe that money. He's just saying, what do you mean? This was a grant. This was a grant. He's like, I don't owe this money. I don't owe them anything. This is going to be Crazy what happens with Ukraine. Eventually, it's going to be crazy. Oh my gosh. Really? He just doesn't. It was a grant. It was a grant. I don't think it was a grant. I don't think so. Again, I said it before. President Trump's going to be like, I'll leave you to BlackRock then. They do terrible things to people. You should see what they do to people. They have trillions of dollars. Now you owe it to BlackRock. We'll see what happens with you. Get ready to be one massive 15-minute city. I hope you like to ride bikes. They won't let you drive a car. That's what they do, you know. Watch. You don't owe the money. You sure? You sure, bro? I think you owe the money. I'm just saying. All right, let me move on here. I forgot to say moving on before. Oh, you don't even understand how much my editor is going to be so mad at me for not saying moving on. I'm not supposed to say moving on. Oh, man. Moving on to Kamala Harris talking about the LA fires. Haven't heard from her in a while. Let's hear if she's learned to talk yet.
What goes through your mind when you see this? You're here. You're now seeing it up close.
It's not only seeing it, Alex. You can smell it. You can feel it, right? So it's seeing it with our eyes, and many people have seen it. You all are covering it. But to literally be on the ground here, you can smell the smoke that was here. You can feel the toxicity, frankly, of the environment. You can feel the energy of all of the folks who are still here on the ground.
What goes through your mind when you see this? You're here. You're now seeing it up close.
Well, I mean, it was fire, and there's just so much when it comes to fire, and much of it is smoke. And it's just, you can kind of feel it because the ground was on fire, and now we're on the ground, but there's no fire here anymore. It's like time was here once, and now it's gone. And it's just toxicity, quite frankly. Hey, retire. I'm sure they'll just give you money. I'm sure USAID gave you a lot of money. Please, just retire. Like, are we done with this yet? This is crazy what's going on with Kamala Harris. Somebody actually said that DeSantis is done. His term is limited. I did not realize that. That's crazy. That's terrible, in my opinion. Byron Donalds will do fine, I think. But DeSantis has been doing good. He's been doing remarkable year after year. So to hear that he just can't be governor anymore, wow. So Byron's going to win, hands down. It's not even a contest. It's done. Byron Donalds, he's supported by Trump. It's Florida. Florida loves Trump. They're pretty much going to listen to what he has to say. They all know Byron Donalds. He's known as a Trump loyalist. Everybody knows he's going to follow Trump's lead. And on top of that, he's solid MAGA, you know. He's black MAGA. It's February, and Byron is black MAGA. It's a real remarkable thing, you know. Very nice guy. Very astonishing guy. Very black. Now he's gonna... I go into that impression all the time. I'll be talking with my wife, and I'll be like, listen, I want to make this protein shake. Get out of my way while I make this protein shake. You're in front of here. The baby's crying. Go handle the baby. I want to make this protein shake. It's going to be the best protein shake you ever seen. I just break into it all the time. Did you know something? Oh, man, I have to see if I can find it. Hold on. Did you know California has a new person running for governor? And I think that they're going to beat Gavin Newsom. I'm sorry. Moving on. Do I have to say moving on? I know you guys are like, this guy has Tourette's. I don't have Tourette's. It helps the editor, okay? California new governor running. Oh, this guy's solid too. Oh, I hope I can find this. I forgot what his name is. Oh, nothing. Is this it? Oh, yeah. What's his name? Bianco. Oh, let's go. Here. Oh, it's only 14 seconds. Man.
Of watching my friends' kids leave this state. We need to bring them all back with sanity and the promise that California is and once again will be the best state in this country. Of watching
This
my
guy's
friends'
running.
kids
I gotta show you guys a longer video of this guy talking. Oh, there he is. Let's go. Let's hear what he has to say here.
Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. You know, for the past 30 years, I've been doing everything I could to keep our community safe by arresting criminals and putting them in jail and putting them in prison, keeping them out of our neighborhoods. For the last 5 years, I've been very critical about our governor for slashing our budgets from corrections, for letting prisoners out early, for closing our prisons. I've been critical of our state legislature for passing laws to make it harder to put people in prison. I've been critical for their changing laws that let prisoners out early. And I've been critical for our Attorney General for seemingly not caring about crime and really being an embarrassment to law enforcement. And this love affair that our governor and our state legislature have with criminals is based on the belief that criminals are not responsible for their own actions. They're a victim of society. And really, it's our fault. It's society's fault. It's business's fault. It's cops' fault. It might be my fault. Law enforcement, apparently, if you listen to our governor, is systemically racist. If you listen to our legislature, our laws are systemically racist. Our judicial system is systemically racist. All of these people that are being put in jail are because of law enforcement bias and DA bias and all of these things. And so they let them out. They give them food. They give them housing. They give them money. They give them drugs and alcohol now. And I got to be honest, I'm getting tired. I'm getting tired. And I'm wondering if I'm having a change of heart and deciding that, you know what, maybe I've been wrong. And I think I'm going to change teams. I know it's going to make some of you angry. I know that you're going to be mad at me, but I'm going to change teams. I think they're onto something, but I don't think they're doing enough. I think that we need to go big. You know me, go big or go home. You're the biggest, you do the best, you're the best at everything, and you might as well do something right if you're going to do it. And I'm all in. And I hope that you're all with me. I hope that you all have this change of heart. You all feel that this is definitely the right thing to do, and you come alongside me in this venture. And I think it's time that instead of letting them out of jail and giving them alcohol and drugs and everything else, I think it's time we put a felon in the White House. Trump 2024, baby.
Let's go. So that's what he said before, and then recently he announced that he's running for governor. Oh, I wish I could find the clip. Is this a longer one? Again, what is with people on X in these 30-second clips, man? Just let something play out. Like, you found the video. You know you found the video. Here, now I'm gonna jump to YouTube and try and find it there. Chad Bianco. Now that I know his name, governor. Let's see that. Let's see if we can find something here. There we go. Let's go.
Let's go out now to California, where
Very nice. Do you hear that?
is a party going on there for Chad Bianco, the sheriff of Riverside County.
Law enforcement, we have firemen, elected officials, we have leaders from our tribal nations, construction workers, teachers, doctors, nurses, students, business owners, real estate professionals, farmers, pastors. I saw a few of my retired friends, dads, and most importantly, for this revolution that we have going on in California, mama bears. I think it would be safe to say that this crowd represents all aspects of our beautiful state. Do you know who I do not see here today? There is no one from special interest groups that are destroying our state. Before I say anything else, I want to especially thank my beautiful wife, Denise. She has been faithfully by my...
And he's straight? Let's go. Let's go. California's coming back. I know Gavin says he is, but I don't know. This guy, oh man. California, you're getting a Chad. Come on. Are you kidding me right now? Got a mustache on him, locking people up. Let's go. It's about time. I'm telling you, I'll never move there, but I want to go there and feel safe. The weather's very nice. It gets cold in Texas sometimes. You want to go over to California, but you don't want to get your windows smashed in. You know what I mean? So right? So you don't go over to California because something's going to happen to you. Okay? Eddie Bravo, Joe Rogan's best friend, Eddie Bravo, guy almost got killed at a gas station. The guy's one of the best jiu-jitsu fighters in the world. What are we talking about here? It's getting out of control. That's all. This is amazing. He's
side through this crazy thing we called law enforcement. And so far, she's promised to stay with me during this next thing we're doing. She is truly my rock of support in everything in my life, and she is going to represent California well as a First Lady. Last thing, Chuck and Naomi, thank you very much for allowing us to have this here today. This is an awesome event. I love this building. Thank you very much for allowing it here. So, let's get to it. I'm here to announce our campaign to be the next governor of California. I am running for governor of our beautiful state, which I absolutely love because our head is heading down the wrong track, and it has been for years. Everyone knows it, except for those sitting in an echo chamber in Sacramento. For decades, the party in complete control of our government has tried the same failed ideas and the same failed policies that haven't worked. We have to be brutally honest during this campaign, and that includes those in the media. It is only our Democrat elected officials who are responsible for the decline of California. What is it that they have given us? Rampant crime, higher taxes, the highest cost of living in our nation, tent encampments in every major city, more fentanyl deaths, catastrophic fires, a broken homeowners insurance market, and people across our state are struggling to afford groceries and gas. Californians deserve better. I came to California in 1989 in search of the California dream. I got a job, I bought a house, I married a beauty queen, and I raised a family. Over the past 36 years, I achieved and lived my California dream. Unfortunately for my kids, destructive policies, political agendas, government overreach and regulation, radical activism, and special interests have turned the California dream into a nightmare for millions of Californians. Today, we fire up the machine that will restore the promise to all Californians that the dream is still alive. If you turn on the news, it seems the only thing positive we have going for us in California is the weather. That's all good. I'm not complaining. Rising crime, the cost of living, the price of food, gas, electricity, overregulation, a failed education system, non-existent or failed infrastructure, overtaxation, and reckless and wasteful government spending are driving hardworking Californians to other states.
Yep. Someone said he needs to stop reading off of cue cards. It's true, because Gavin, I don't like Gavin at all, right? I mean, but he's solid when it comes to just talking, even though it's all lies and it's all nonsense. He still doesn't have to look at anything. But this guy's been an officer. This guy's not a politician. He's just stepping into the ring now. So give him a little bit of time. I think this guy's going to win. I think right now, California, somebody even made the comment, they're like, he's going to campaign on giving people water. I mean, it's going to be real. I think it's going to be real simple to make Gavin not look that good. You just have to, the guy spent $24 billion on homelessness. And then they were like, so what happened? He's like, oh, I don't know. What? Oh, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. Where'd the money go? Oh, probably around. It's probably spread all around. Yeah. Homeless. Tents. I don't know. Wait, hold on. You're not putting money to help them be homeless. Oh, oh, yeah, whatever the opposite of tense are. I'm sure it's fine. He has no idea. And then when LA burned to the ground, he was just like, huh, what's with everybody politicizing this whole thing? What's with the politics of all this stuff? President Trump's attacking me. What is this? It was crazy. And then President Trump's like, before we give you money, we have to know that you're going to use water to fight fires, Gavin. I need a detailed plan of how you're going to use water. And he's like, oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. Just give me $30 billion, please. And even the Speaker of the House was like, you need a plan. And he's like, oh, politicizing this. I couldn't see a world where this guy loses. I can't see it. And he's law enforcement. And then on top of that, he's going to get the endorsement from law enforcement because he's going to be like, hey, you guys are going to be able to arrest people again. Store owners. Pretty much every store owner has had somebody run into their store with masks on or with not masks on, with nothing, just run in and just take whatever they want. Everybody's going to be, who's not going to be on this guy's side? Who? And you know what? As I say that, there's going to be a bunch of people not on his side. He's going to be like, it's time to arrest people. And people are going to be like, that's racist. I want to put criminals in jail. Oh, he's racist against black people. That's what liberals always do. You bring up arresting people in jail and they're automatically like, you must be talking about black people. They're like, there's no other people that you could be talking about right now. You're a racist. And it's like, whoa, hey. He's not talking about black people. He said criminals. I heard him say criminals, and we all know who the criminals. It's like, easy. They're all like that. It's absolutely tremendous. But I think this guy's going to win. I think he's going to win in a landslide. I think it's going to be crazy. And not like this kind of landslides that Gavin specializes in, where whole places burn down. I think it's going to be something different. Oh, what do people have to say here? California is a trash can. It's not. It's great. It's just you let it go. Like, it's funny in this guy's speech. He should be focusing the same way Trump only focused on Biden, then only focused on Kamala, and then focused on what they did and what they let happen to the country. This guy should only be focusing on Gavin Newsom. That is it. It starts and stops. The buck starts and stops with him. There's no one else to blame. 100%. He should be just saying, Gavin Newsom did this. Gavin Newsom did that. It's all Gavin. It's all on Gavin. So I don't know. We'll see. I think right now he's just starting as a politician. I think slowly he's going to build up the nerve and he's going to be like, okay, I think I got to start taking jabs. I don't know who else he's running after. Who else is he running with? I think it's just him. Hey, can I just, moving on. I got to say moving on for the editor. Moving on. Vivek got fired from DOGE. I know this is like an old story, but I just want to put it out there because a lot of people are like, no, Ohio, this. And since we're talking about governors, because he's running for governor, is he live right now? I didn't even realize this. Hold on. Let me just throw this in here. Hold on a second. Is he actually live?
That's unacceptable.
He is. What?
He owes those kids an apology in our public schools. We're going to stand for the achievement of our students, from the sports fields to the classroom, to pursue excellence in every domain. And to that end, I will lead Ohio to be the first state in the country that adopts the most common sense reform required to allow our public schools to compete. We will be the first state in the United States of America that implements merit-based pay for every teacher, principal, superintendent, and administrator in our public schools. We're going to lead the country. Let me be clear. I'm not going to seek picking a fight with the teachers' unions, but I will do whatever is required to stand for the achievement of our students. And let me also be clear about this. Our best public school teachers actually deserve to be paid a lot more than they are right now. I think of Mrs. Kinney for me in the 6th grade at Robert E. Lucas Intermediate School, Rellis, in the Princeton School District, not far from where we are right now. Great public school, had a magnet program. I switched into there in 6th grade. She caused me to see in myself things I didn't know I had in me, the potential that she unlocked by lighting a fire under my feet, to actually believe in myself, to achieve the things that I would have otherwise imagined impossible. She changed my life. I don't think I would have lived the American dream without her, and I would be thanking her here in person today, but for the fact that she died in a tragic accident a couple of years ago. We need more teachers like Mrs. Kinney. But we're not attracting the very best anymore because there is no meritocracy in compensation.
So somebody asked why he got fired. It's because of the whole HB1 thing. He was like, he's saying Americans don't work hard because they watch Boy Meet World. It was silly. It was such a silly conversation to have happening. It was such an unneeded conversation that he was having, and it was for basically no reason. It just didn't need to happen. No conversations like that needed to happen before Trump was in office. He just didn't think about what he did. And after that, a lot of Americans were mad, and Trump hears. People think Trump is just, he's out for himself and egotistical, this, that. No. He has his ear to the ground, okay? The one that got shot, too. The one that got shot, he has it to the ground all the time. And he does not play around. So once he realized, Americans don't like what this guy said. They're really mad. They're taking online. They're really going after this guy. Get him out of here. Get him out of here. I'm not even in office yet. What's this guy doing? What's he doing to me? Get him out of here. That's exactly what happened. And then Trump, a lot of people don't realize this. Trump was the one, 5 days after this whole HB1 thing, Trump said that Vivek should run to fill the Senate seat that JD left vacant. And that was Trump very kindly saying, you need to go. Very, very kindly. And then the whole governor thing popped up and Trump was like, yeah, I support it. But that's how they kind of eased him out of the administration. It was a very kind way to do it. And also he will fill a great seat, but you just don't get to take shots at American citizens. You just don't. It doesn't matter what your reasoning is. It doesn't matter if you're right. You don't get to do that. I've said it 100 times. Trump's superpower is his disrespect. And if you look at his disrespect and how he wields it, he'll wield it to people on the right that he doesn't get along with. He'll go to people on the left. He'll go to other world leaders, but he never points it at the citizens. Never. Of any country. Go check what I'm saying. Go back. Check. There's nothing. He doesn't direct disrespect at the citizens ever. And Vivek was directing disrespect, even if he was right, at the citizens. And that's why he got fired from DOGE. 100%. They'll never say that because they don't want to hurt him, because he's still solid. And one day he could be a presidential, vice president candidate, president candidate. Like, he could still do it. So they didn't want to hurt him, but that's what happened. You don't take shots at the citizens. You just don't. That's how I feel about it. Anyway.
Merit-based compensation. Ohio will be a magnet.
Be a presidential,
for the best educators across the country. We owe it to our kids that the very best teachers in America are teaching our own kids how to excel in math and reading and writing. And we won't forget about physical education either. We're going to bring back PE into early childhood education beginning in kindergarten. It's important. And you know what? We're going to bring back the presidential fitness test. Bring that back in the 8th grade. That includes the pull-ups. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be able to do it, but it sets a standard. We're going to serve healthier food in our cafeterias because the best way to save on health costs in the long run is to cultivate a healthier population in the first place. That includes not just physical health, but mental health as well. The epidemic of depression, anxiety, fentanyl, suicide that has festered in our state for too long will end on my watch. We're going to fill that void at the heart of a generation, starting with the schools. Get the cell phones out of the schools. There's no controversy around this. There's no reason for it. The cell phones out of our classrooms, full stop in our public schools in Ohio. But we'll go further to fill that crisis of purpose and meaning in our young people. So many of them hungry to be part of something bigger, hungry for that cause, hungry for that call of meaning, hungering for the real thing. We got to fill that black hole, that void. Individual, family, nation, and God beats race, gender, sexuality, and climate if we have the courage to actually stand for our own vision. And as your next governor, I take that responsibility seriously. We're going to stand for the positive revival, let's start with faith, in our state as well. And I'm speaking about a modern-day Northwest Ordinance. Actually, the Northwest Territories, Ohio was the heart of that, were established by a group of Baptists who came here before the Constitutional Convention to secure a place for religious liberty for persons of every faith. So that here, 200 plus years later, a guy like me can be running for governor of our state. We were the state of religious freedom, and we're going to stand for the revival of faith by standing for the religious freedom of persons of every faith in this state, because that is who we are. We're going to stand for the power of the nuclear family as the greatest form of governance known to mankind, because it's the truth. We're going to eliminate the disincentives to family formation, but also as your next governor, as a relatively young governor, Apoorv and I take this responsibility seriously. We aspire to hold ourselves to a higher standard, to a standard where young men and women across this state can look at us as their leaders and say, you know what, marriage is cool. Family is cool. We're not going to talk out of both sides of our mouth when it comes to our conservative values. We want to set the example for that next generation. It means bringing back civic education in our schools. It means teaching our kids to be proud of our country and our state rather than ashamed of it. Eliminate the woke indoctrination and victimhood psychology with actual U.S. history and actual civics lessons. Say the Pledge of Allegiance with a moment of silence every day in public schools across this state.
Vivek is talking that talk. He is, I think he's going to win. I don't even know who he's running against. And that's the thing. When it comes to, the whole, we can always say popularity contest, people don't even know who the other guy is. And everyone knows Vivek. They know that he would have been a great president if we didn't already have somebody who was incredible, the best of our lifetime. So I think he's going to win easy. I think the people just know. They've heard what he had to say. And on top of that, they've already heard what he has to say in so many different ways, whether it's podcasting, campaigning, also presidential debates. They've heard him in so many different stages. They're used to seeing him. They know that he was a part of the Trump administration. They don't know everything I just told you about how he got out of DOGE, but I think he's going to win solidly. Somebody brought up the hat and how he's wearing the hat. Yeah, he needs to stiffen that up. When Trump wears the hat, Trump wears it down like this. Trump wears it like, Trump doesn't play around when he wears it. When he comes in with the MAGA hat on, it's dark MAGA when Trump comes in, It's black MAGA. Oh man, Trump, first black president. So black. Anyway, let's move on here. What else do I have on the list? I have this whole list. Oh, we can jump over here, I guess. We can jump over here. Let's see it real quick. Charlie Kirk, straighten emo woke kid. Let's see what that is. Moving on. I have to say that.
$1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. Biodiversity in Nepal, $19 million.
Again, those can be important. You have to those could be helpful.
Okay, so how could biodiversity in Nepal for $19 million? We spent $20 million for a new Sesame Street in Iraq.
You have to both justify that these programs are bad. I think no, you can flash design. This is a program. It costs this much money. You can say that.
Do you know anything about Liberia? I happen to know a lot about it, but that's a separate issue.
It's not about what I know. It's about the people in the government making these decisions.
Yes, and they have proven themselves to be robber barons over the last 20 years. That they're spending your money with reckless abandon and total indiscretion. You think the government is innocent until proven guilty. I think the government, after what we've learned, is guilty until proven innocent. They have to justify why this money is being spent in the first place.
Wait a minute. That's how the law works. Innocent until proven guilty. You have to prove that
that's not how taxpayer money works, though. It's that if we find waste, you're going to have to over-justify why this exists in the first place. This is the first time in my lifetime we have an administration going after the waste, going after the size of government to balance the budget so that you guys don't live as indentured servants and Russian serfs for the rest of your life. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia, biodiversity in Nepal.
Voter, but I don't know how Charlie's doing this. I don't know how he has the patience for this. I can't wait to see Charlie actually run for something. This guy is a perfect example of what I'm always talking about. I've talked about throughout this whole live. There's always people who will fight for this stuff. The guy's talking about Sesame Street in Iraq, and he's like, that could be youthful, actually. Actually, there could be something to that. Big Bird has been known to really enlighten people. Just saying, they might actually really appreciate it. So you might be wrong about this one, Charlie. I think I got you here in this whole debate thing. There's always people who are like that. That's what he sounds like to me. That's all I hear when I hear people talk like this. It's absolute nonsense. There's always people fighting for this type of thing. I love Charlie Kirk's videos. I just had to jump on. I made this list quickly, and I was like, let me just throw Charlie Kirk in there. So that's a quick one. Let's move on. Matt Gaetz. Is this true? My buddy mentioned this to me. Is this actually true? Oh, it's so small. But apparently, Kash Patel has tapped Matt Gaetz as a special prosecutor to investigate Hunter Biden's dealings in Ukraine. What? Is this actual? I forgot to even look up this, so I had some supporting. Let's see. This is crazy. This is crazy. On top of that, Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is Kash Patel's number 2. So now it's Pam, Kash Patel, Bongino, and Matt Gaetz is special prosecutor. What? They're making their own Trump administration inside the Trump administration. What's happening right now? Oh, man. I hope I saved that Dan Bongino. Did I save that video? Here, first, let me see if this is actually true. Because this seems crazy to me. I mean, no offense to Matt Gaetz. I think he's absolutely amazing. But if this is true, all of this was planned. If this is actually happening, all of this was planned. Matt Gaetz, special... Oh, see, this is where the heat comes in. I gotta spell things right in front of you guys. Prosecutor, is that right? Oh God. Is this actual? So I'm seeing this in X. I'm not seeing it from any super verified accounts though. People are saying, yeah, he's to take down the Biden family. Is this real? Matt Gaetz, Attorney General. No, this is the Attorney General one. Dan Bongino, Matt Gaetz is special prosecutor. I have to just see if this is real. This can't be real. And again, I'm not saying it because it's a bad thing, but it's just too wild. It's just too much winning. There's too much. Is this actual? No, so this is from 2024. So there's nothing in former Ukraine prosecutor says he was fired. So there's nothing in the mainstream about it, but X is faster than the mainstream. So they might have picked this up first, and the mainstream's going to have to start catching up kind of thing, you know? Leftards. Tap the special prosecutor. I have to find out if it's real. If it's real, this is nuts. Nuts. All right, anyway, let me jump over to Dan Bongino. Let's see what I have in my bookmarks here. You guys want to see some wild stuff. My bookmarks. Let me tell you something. I can't even. What is it?
Is passionate about it for a reason. How many freaking times are we going to let the FBI interfere in an election? I mean, this is supposed to be a constitutional republic. I'm not crazy, right? Like, this is supposed to be a representative democracy. Banana republic. We're beyond a banana republic. We're into like tin pot dictator third world stuff. This is embarrassing. At least Pravda didn't pretend to be anything but state apparatchiks. The FBI, and listen, I've been with you for a while. I work with a lot of decent guys. But I'm done with the rank and file stuff too. I'm done with it. If you took part in this, anyone who took part in this, anyone, I don't care who you are, an analyst or an upper level manager, the next president who comes in office, they should schedule F as many people as they can in the federal government and fire every single person involved in this. Everyone. The receptionist in the FBI office who took a call on this should be fired. We are not a third world republic, supposedly. Sean, the difference between us and Kim Jong-un, right, is that we investigate crimes and then we look for people. We don't investigate people and then look for crimes. That is exactly what's going on. How many times are they going to investigate Donald Trump for how many different things before the American people wake up and realize this isn't an investigation of a crime in search of a person, but a person in search of a crime? And let me just add, one last thing on this, folks. I left my job. So no one's going to lecture me, oh, Dan, what would you do if you just do? There's no more we're just doing our job. You swore an oath to the Constitution. Have some balls, man. I left my job.
This is crazy. He's the #2 guy. Oh, no. His first act, he's just going to fire the receptionist, no matter who it is. Were you there when Trump got raided? I was actually sick that you're fired. You took an oath to the Constitution. Get out. It's too much fire. This is too fiery. Given how Kash Patel is, and now this guy's his #2, this is wild. Wild what's about to happen. This guy's down to get rid of FBI personnel who did the wrong thing. Kash Patel wants to do the exact same thing. This is going to be nuts. This is going to be nuts. What day is it today? It's Monday. I think he just accepted the position. Oh, man. Oh, man. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. You might as well just do a search on him. I mean, I had a video that I wanted to show you guys of this guy. Bongino. Not Bingino. Bongino. Man, I'm telling you, this guy is just... he's too much. I can't believe it. He swears a lot. I'm like looking for things that like aren't swears. This guy. Oh,
how do you start today's show?
Here it is. Yeah.
No, I howl. Jasmine's sitting there kind of laughing. Like, what do you say? Hey guys, Monday morning. Well, let me give you a weekend update. Quite the weekend update. Kind of probably the most interesting weekend update ever. And the interesting thing about this weekend update is producer Jim, at least on the radio show, is not going to have to run the let's take a brief interlude into Dan's personal life, because my personal life is no longer personal. Folks, I'm sure by now you've heard the news. Wait, do I have it? Oh, no, I already took it. Sorry. Someone gave me the man card, gave me like an actual man card one day. Like it's a little, looks like a credit card, kind of a joke, obviously. So let me just turn that in right now because this may be a little bit emotional, and let me apologize in advance. I was home last night, and I'm sitting there. I was watching a show. I didn't even know what I was watching. Food That Built America or something like that. And I was falling asleep because it had been a really long day. Now you know why. And some of you kind of understand why the show had a different tone over the last couple of weeks. And I got a call from the president, and he couldn't have been nicer. And I obviously keep the contents of it between us, but I think you get the gist about what it was about. And kind of broke down a bit because it was, this is now real. So President, Attorney General Bondi, and now Director, gosh, that sounds good to say, FBI Director Kash Patel offered this role, a role I expressed an interest in. And ladies and gentlemen, I told you, you see, it's hard for me. I'm going to accept the role proudly. as the deputy director, the number 2 spot at the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Folks, it's a lot to walk away from. I will tell you everything what happened within reason, and then I got a show to do, and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with the show. So it's going to be a pretty wild ride today. Man, do we have a lot to talk about. I'm going to play for you in the beginning, too, a speech I gave that someone sent to me from 11 years ago. And you'll see why I decided to make this decision. So a lot to do today. Thank you so much for kind of a big audience here right away out of the chute. So thank you very much. I love you guys. And Bongino Army out there, I hope you understand. I got a couple of negative comments. Dan, you should have let us know. I hope you understand about this. This is not you do not ever get ahead of the President of the United States, the Attorney General, and the Director of the FBI. You don't do that. Not when you take positions like that. It's not the right thing to do. So now you understand.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, someone said couldn't think of a better guy. Yeah, man. Oof. This is crazy. It's just too much. But I think he's getting emotional because he's leaving the show, right? I mean, it's a great position. And a lot of people wanted to see him as head of the Secret Service, especially everything that was happening to Trump and, the just straight up incompetence that was around in the Secret Service that allowed these things to happen to him, potentially happen to him. And they wanted to see this guy as the head protecting Trump. And now he's number 2 to Kash Patel. This is just wild. So now you have Pam Bondi, who Kash Patel said has been like a mentor to him. So they've kind of come up together as prosecutors. Then you got Dan next to Kash. Wow. I don't know what's going to happen. I think there's going to be some firings. Definitely. I think there's going to be some firings for sure. I think there's going to be some massive, standard heightening. It was Kash already said it. He said there's going to be a certain standard. You're going to go by this standard. But now you have his number 2 is the enforcer of those things that Kash Patel said in his recent speech when he was being sworn in. Now you're going to have this guy enforcing these standards on these FBI agents. Wow. And if he's allowed to fire anybody, we're going to see 1,000 people get fired from the FBI. we're going to see 1,000 people get fired right off the bat. Oh man. He's working with Jamie Raskin. Who's working with Jamie Raskin? Dan is? Here's the thing about Dan also. From what I can tell, I don't know the guy, never met the guy, but it seems like he is very much, the Constitution is the thing to follow, and that's why Kash Patel's very much like that as well. Pam Bondi's very much like, so they all get along there, but he's very, he obeys rank. And if Kash tells him to do something, he's going to do it, right? He even said it. He's like, oh, you don't get ahead of the President of the United States. Like, he's very oriented towards order. So you're going to see him do some things that you don't like as a person, but he has to do it because that's what you have to do in this position. And you got to work with this person, that person, that person. So he's going to obey what the position entails, but he's going to be fierce about it. Because the thing is, the people who are in these positions that Kash and him are in now, they weren't obeying it that way. They were undermining the president. This guy's never going to undermine the president. Never. Because you're not supposed to in those positions. You're supposed to be doing what the president says that you should be doing, what the Constitution says, doing what the president says. And if the president goes against the Constitution, you're supposed to bring that up, but you can't overrule him. And a lot of people, Trump's first term, thought that they could just overrule him. It was the cool thing to do, and the media was going to have your back and blah, blah, blah. But all that's done. I can't wait to see what these guys do. I have never in my life, if you went to me when I was younger, said, you're going to be excited about the FBI director when you're older, I'd be like, get out of here. I'm trying to get high. That's what I would say to you for sure. But here we are, man. Here we are. I have some white male tears of joy Joy Reid being canned. White male tears. Oh, those are her favorite. Those are her favorite. Keep those away from her. She'll scarf those down. Let's move on here. What else do we have? Yeah, man, just great. Congratulations to this guy. And if Matt Gaetz is special prosecutor, like, this is just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. Because I know a bunch of stuff has come up about Matt Gaetz, you know, all of that stuff that came up. But Pam, Cash, Dan, and Matt, they're all really, and this should be every politician, but it's not, they're really partial to the Constitution. They're really into following the Constitution. And again, that should be just a prerequisite for every politician, but I would be shocked if they all even knew what the Constitution even said. Beautiful woman. Moving on. I gotta say that. Beautiful woman set the record straight on Barack Obama. I don't even remember what this was. Let's see it. Oh yeah, I remember. Never mind. Let's go.
A plant. Barack Obama was a plant. He did nothing for the black community. Did he ever come back to Chicago with as much crime to talk to young black men? He doesn't give a damn. Barack Obama is a curse on this nation. So is Joe Biden.
Abomination.
We provided the money for his Marxist socialist programs, pushing abortion in Africa and other things. He didn't care about us. He didn't care. That gave rise to Trump. Because Trump actually listened to us. He actually cares. Many of us, I mean, it was bad. At least Bill Clinton BS that said, I feel your pain. But he said it. Barack Obama didn't give a damn. He should have never been elected. Before he was elected in 2000, he got elected in 2008. My mother sent, may God rest her soul, letters to black churches, warning them about Barack Obama, saying he was so ungodly. I said, Mom, that's harsh. She wrote it anyway. And everything my mother said, may God rest her soul, was right. He hates this country, but he wants to live off the fat of the land. Like the founders of Black Lives Matter, they don't give a damn about black people. They didn't have to spend one dime to help build a black business. But these lesbians, they bought homes in predominantly white neighborhoods. See, they say they
She is going in.
I love seeing older black people hip to Obama. You know, a lot of them got blinded because, you know, you grab onto, you know, the people who look like you, and you're like, you never thought you'd see this in your lifetime, and you don't have much left of a lifetime, so you just grab hold and you're like, he's the one. But the ones that see past everything that he was, or that he claimed to be, those are beautiful people. Beautiful, beautiful people. That they're willing to speak it out loud like that, you know? Oh, man. You know, it took me a while. Yeah, my editor, my guy, he's watching right now. He's the one who told me about Obama, man. The first time I remember, I was like, what is he talking about? And then slowly I just started learning, and I'm like, wow, that's interesting. You start learning thing after thing, and then you learn about rules for radicals, and you learn about Saul Alinsky, and then you learn about how these people on the left, they manipulate the title of community organizer, and how they actually pervert that position into something that they can use as a means to power, as a weapon. It's wild to see. Wild to see, you know? And you know, the whole time, Newt Gingrich was the only one calling it out. He was like, this, he even said it. He was like in a debate or an interview. He's like, this guy's a community organizer. You don't realize how dangerous this guy is. And people were like, what? He's a community organizer and that's dangerous? Because he wasn't explaining it right. Because he was like, you guys don't see what this is? And nobody saw it. And he was the only one for years. He went on this just campaign of just like, F Obama. And nobody was hearing him. Nobody was really hearing him. Nobody's really understanding him. Yeah, I was just sent this this whole thing that was just let me see here. I have a feeling he's gonna swear. I don't like plain swearing, and of course Dan Crenshaw decides to do something like that. Let me play this. Apparently this just happened. Why is it popping up like that? Man, why is it being all weird? Let me just move this here. Come on, be normal. Be normal. Come on. There you go. Normal enough, whatever. Let me play this. Tucker Carlson, Dan Crenshaw, reportedly getting into it a little bit via X. I will live bleep out the swear word. Watch this.
Have you ever met Tucker?
We've talked a lot. If I ever meet him, I'll probably kill him.
Oh, I missed it. Man. Crenshaw, come on, Crenshaw.
Have you ever met Tucker?
So he says he will effing kill Tucker if he ever meets him. And then Elon Musk is like, why is Crenshaw homicidal regarding Tucker? And then Tucker jumps in. He says, why don't you sit down for an interview and we'll see how you do. I'll send my address. That is the very polite version of, bro, I'll tell you where I live. Come see me. Come see me. I know it's just one eye, but here's my address. Come see me. Let's see what happens. Man, Crenshaw deserves it too. That guy is just such a tool. Such a tool, man. There's so many other words to use for that guy. But apparently, Tucker Carlson calling out Dan Crenshaw, give that a repost ASAP. He says he's going to effing kill the guy. You know, but Crenshaw went after David Goggins. David Goggins, a dude who just runs and tries to motivate people. He goes after him. He tried to jail his fellow SEAL. Like he's just terrible. He's just a terrible dude. He's part of the WEF. Like he went that way. You know the thing about Crenshaw? And Tulsi? They were the same and they both went a certain way right away. And this is how it usually happens, right? He got in and right away, World Economic Forum started going against the people who supported him, people he's fought next to, started going after the SEAL community, you know, became all about money. He's one of those guys who says he doesn't have any investments, but he actually does. He just went the way of the politician. And Tulsi was kind of the same thing but the opposite. Tulsi came in and they're like, you can be vice DNC chair. You could have this. The World Economic Forum approached her. They're going to give you an award. She was like, thank you. And then she realized what was going on. Crenshaw realized what was going on. Tulsi realized going on. She ran away from it and he went deeper into it, you know? And they end up exactly where they deserve to be. Exactly where they deserve to be. And now everybody knows Crenshaw's a tool. And now so many people are starting to realize, myself included, how great Tulsi is. I love to see it. Love to see it. He's getting exactly what he deserves. Let me jump back to these bookmarks, actually. You know, let me jump to a normal page. Let me jump back to these bookmarks because I actually have something I believe Tulsi is talking about. Where'd the bookmarks go? What's going on here? Give me my bookmarks back. Ridiculous. Yeah, there they are. Let me go. Where's Tulsi? There she is. Tulsi talking a little bit here.
In positions for too long, as you know, we've seen people in positions of great power tell us that, oh, well, you know, if we just violate your civil liberties and freedom a little bit, it's okay because we're trying to keep you safe. Unfortunately, you know, we've seen this for decades, and the more our freedoms are eroded, the more the foundations of our democracy are eroded. So, you know, a lot of people talk about national security or security threats, but there's two components of that leaders have to really uphold, which is, yes, there's such a thing as a threat to physical security, but the threat to our freedom and our liberty must be balanced right alongside that threat to our physical security. For too long, as you know, we've seen people in positions of great power tell us that, oh, well, you know, if we just violate your civil liberties and freedom a little bit, it's okay because we're trying to keep you safe.
Man, so true. So true. This is like one of the first interviews she's done now that she's in her new position. I love it. Love to see it. Can't wait to see her on the next Joe Rogan, her next appearance. I'm sure she'll be on there and it'll be a very weird conversation. She went from being able to talk about everything to all of a sudden she won't be able to talk about anything. I mean, let's be real. I mean, she says wonderful things, and I'm sure she has great intentions, but she can't all of a sudden just start telling everybody everything. Like, oh my gosh, do you know? I saw what the CIA did last week. Can I tell you a little something about it? She's not going to do all that with Joe Rogan. She might behind closed doors. But she won't be able to do that in the public. What else have we got in our list here? We got new episodes. Joy Reid canceled. Trump roasts Obama. Let's check that out. I think that's just a clip. Moving on. I have to say. I'm like an NPC. Moving on. All right, let's go here. Let's see what this is.
Sleepy Joe. Got to stay with Kirk. He had one ability that I didn't have. He could do something that I couldn't do. I don't say that because he was a horrible golfer. Remember, he challenged me during the debate to a golf match? He said, I'm a 6 handicap. I said, you're not a 36 handicap. He said, he's a 6. And then he said, well, I'm 8. Remember? I said, that was quick. Picked up 2 strokes. He said, no, I'm an 8. But he's not a 36 handicap. But he had one ability that was amazing. He could go with cameras on him, television, fake news on him, probably because he knows they wouldn't cover it badly. They covered him as well as you can cover him. How the hell can you cover the guy well? But he had this incredible ability. He could barely walk in the sand. Somebody thought he looked great in a bathing suit. And he'd walk in the sand pulling a thing that weighed about 6 ounces. You know those aluminum? See, aluminum's very good. It's meant for children and very old people to lift, right? So he would put it down, and he'd put it down, and he'd fall into it, and he'd immediately fall asleep in front of the media. I could never do that. That's the only thing. I could never do it. No, he was Sleepy Joe, but he was crooked as hell. There's no question. He was a sleepy, crooked guy. Terrible, terrible president. He was the worst president in the history of our country. I don't care. I'll say it. Jimmy Carter passed away recently, and he passed away a happy man. He was a happy man when he passed away because he said that it's not even close. Joe was the worst, and believe me, I have to clean up the mess. I'm cleaning up the mess, and it is a mess on the border with inflation. Could go over every single thing he touched. Turned to shit, okay? Everything. It's true.
Man, I'm trying not to have clips that have swearing. Even the president of the United States. Oh my gosh. Usually I have the other channel. It's Joe Rogan. I'm like, oh, this guy's going to swear so much. This channel, I'm like, there's going to be no swearing. These are all civilized people. But Trump had to drop it there. And he's not lying. He's not lying. He said it perfectly and patriotically. A natural comedian, someone said. 100%. I say it all the time. This guy could just be like, I'm doing a comedy tour, and he will make $1 billion. $1 billion playing every stadium. Not just theaters, every stadium in the country. Easily. Without a doubt. He would fill every single seat. People would love it. I would go and see it. People would be following it. He could just call it the mega tour. That's it. $1 billion. He could just do that one time, be the highest grossing comedian in history, and that would be it. Just no problem. And he could talk about anything. And apparently from what I heard, he's even funnier in private. It gets worse. He goes harder in private, apparently. Oh my gosh, what I would pay for this guy to have his tie loosened and just be chilling after a long day and just talking a mess about everybody. Somebody said, Mike volume homie. Hey man, don't scare me like that. Did I have the mic off before? Don't scare me like that. People, you have no idea what kind of terror you put someone in when they see a comment on a video and it says, "Oh, it's muted," and you go, "Oh my God," and everything stops. Everything in your life stops, and now you have to go check, and then it's just them. They're just like, "Oh, never mind. It's just, sorry, it's just my bro. Don't scare me like that, okay? Don't do that to me." Anyway, moving on. Breaking. I'm not gonna pull up the clip. I'm trying to stay in a flow here, but Marjorie Taylor Greene just saw what Dan Crenshaw just said about Tucker Carlson. She just said, "Did you threaten to kill my friend at Tucker Carlson?" And Dan Crenshaw says no and laughs. I have to pull this up. This is crazy. The community notes are kicking in. I have to pull this up. Hold on a second. What a guy this day. I'm thinking Dan Crenshaw, man. He's just the worst. He's just the worst, man. He's just the worst. Let's see. Here, let's jump over here. She goes, "Did you just threaten to kill my friend?" Tucker Carlson. And then he laughs. He laughs and he goes, "No." Immediately, community notes kicks in. Dan Crenshaw, in fact, said that if he ever met Carl, he would kill him. Well, come on, Crenshaw. Come on, man. He's just like, no. Marjorie Taylor Greene taking it very seriously. I bet you she's going to do something about it. I bet she's going to say something at a congressional hearing. She's one of the worst people to have an issue with, because she'll just be like, "I'm taking it in front of Congress. I'm going to say it in front of everybody." And you're like, "Oh my God." Oh. And she's going to yell, she's going to get her point across. She's not going to let you get away with anything. There's so many clips that I have to actually completely forgot that I have to post. I have to repost. Sorry about that, guys. If you're following me on X, everything you see here will be reposted just so you can take it in for yourself. Let me just jump over here. I'll do the rest later. What do we got next? Moving on. What does this say? Lesbian guy. Oh, okay, fine. Click it. I put it in there for a reason. Oh, what is this gonna be? Oh man. Okay. All right. Let's test the limits.
What's up? Yeah, you know how I'm trans and a girl? Yeah, I really can't forget. Yeah, so I decided that I want to mainly date girls. What does that mean exactly? I'm gonna be a girl and date mostly, if not entirely, girls. How does that work? Well, I talk to girls and then I date them. Do trans girls date other trans girls too? It's been known to happen. You also want to date cis girls. Girls are girls, yeah. You're not worried about incompatibility? How? Emotionally, physically, chemically. Chemically? Girl crushes are much more intense. You know this, right? I know. Okay. No, yeah, it's about what makes you happy. Okay. Thanks.
Fine. Whatever. Fine. But the thing is, I'm just saying, you're ready, and then you're kind of going back to the, okay, as long as you realize you put in a lot of extra steps. That's all I'm saying. You put in a bunch of extra steps there, and I'm not going to get too much into it. Oh, fine. fine, whatever. That's one of those people that's like, I'm tired of Elon Musk finding waste. I'm tired of him finding fraud. Only fascists find fraud in the government. Anyways, guys, all right. Let's get, speaking of fraud in the government, let's talk about DOGE giving back, they're giving back money to Americans. Do you guys actually think that this is possible? Let's actually see this.
Taxpayers, 20% to pay. DOGE dividend checks that would be 20% back to taxpayers, 20% to pay down the debt. 60% is left. Who gets that?
When you achieve savings, you can either return it to taxpayers, you can return it to our debtors, or it can be cycled into next year's budget, and then it just lowers the overall baseline for next year. This is all going to be worked on through the reconciliation process with Congress that's going underway right now.
The White House breaking down how government savings will be used. Now, DOGE is proposing that a percentage should go straight to Americans' pockets. And James Fishback is a DOGE advisor. He came up with this idea. That escalated quickly, James. So here was Elon Musk yesterday talking to Hannity about this. Watch.
The overall goal is to try to get $1 trillion out of the deficit. And if the deficit is not brought under control, America will go bankrupt. The massive waste, fraud, and abuse that has been going on, which is leading to a $2 trillion a year deficit. That's what the president was handed on Jan 20th, a $2 trillion deficit. It's insane.
James, sorry, that was on Tuesday, not last night. But the sentiment continues. And a question based on, even on what Stephen Miller was just explaining to Peter Doocy yesterday, the $55 billion in savings that DOGE has found so far, has that money then been transferred back to the Treasury, or is it still at those agencies waiting some sort of assignment from either the president or actually from Congress?
Well, it's somewhere in the ether, Dana, but I think the more important question is that where is this money going to go when we end up saving it when DOGE is all said and done? President Trump is off to a smashing start. What an incredible first month. Now it's time to look at the DOGE savings, as our proposal calls out, and send 20% of that right back to the hardworking Americans who sent it to D.C. in the first place, Dana. They didn't send it to Washington, D.C. for it to be spent on a rocky Sesame Street or on a transgender opera in Colombia. They sent it for our roads, our bridges, our health care, and our education. That clearly has been lacking. So guess what? Taxpayers are overdue for restitution. They need a refund. And I'm proud that President Trump supports our proposal.
So would, in your idea, and maybe it's not fully fleshed out yet, but would the dividend checks go to people, like all taxpayers, or just to people making a certain amount of money?
It's a great question. So the plan, everyone can read it at mydogedividend.com. The plan is very simple, Dana. We think DOGE will save $2 trillion in total. You take 20% of that, that's $400 billion. You divide that by the number of American households that will pay federal income tax this year. That's 79 million. That gets you $5,000 to every American tax-paying household next summer. It'll have President Trump's signature on it, because without him, without his leadership, this would not be possible.
Okay, the New York Times asked this, a DOGE dividend. President Trump floated giving taxpayers a piece of any savings that Elon Musk cost-cutting generates, which could reignite inflation. And I'm no AI expert, but I just checked on Grok. I just asked a question. Would giving these checks possibly lead to more inflation? And Grok says yes. What do you say?
I say no, and here's why, Dana. The first reason is that our economy is in much better shape. The last time stimulus checks...
Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. Did she just say she asked Grok? Is that what just happened? Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. What?
But I just checked on Grok. I just asked a question. Would giving these checks possibly lead to more inflation? And Grok says yes. What do you say?
Okay. All right. That's where we're at. Hey, listen, I love Fox. That's where we're at. They're asking Grok. At least she asks somebody, you know? At least some person in a dark robe doesn't walk up with all her talking points. She's asking Grok things. Fine. Okay. Seems a little weird, but okay, fine.
I say no, and here's why, Dana. The first reason is that our economy is in much better shape the last time stimulus checks were indiscriminately sent out by President Biden. We had a massive labor shortage, supply chain dislocations, and they were sent out to everybody, not just taxpayers. The second reason is that this money is coming from direct savings. So remember, for every $5 that DOGE saves, $1 goes back to hardworking taxpayers. And a poll from 2019 CNBC found that 70% of Americans would use this type of check to pay down debt, which is the opposite of inflationary. It's deflationary. So this is good policy.
So
it's good economics.
That's going to be my last question. Do you think that if somebody does ultimately get this check, if they have credit card debt, they should use that extra money that they found, the savings, the money they weren't expecting to get back, and pay down their own debt?
Absolutely. Just like
so
DC should get its house in order.
So then should the government do the same?
The government should do the same, which is why this proposal calls for the rest of the money, the other 80%, to narrow the deficit, Dana, and to pay down our national debt. But American taxpayers who have worked hard, they need a break. They need restitution. The biggest part, Dana, though, is we incentivize them to report waste, fraud, and abuse. As President Trump said on Air Force One, report waste, fraud, and abuse, Dana, because guess what? The more DOGE saves, the bigger their DOGE dividend check is.
Stephen Miller breaking down the expected plan to distribute the funds that have been clawed back by DOGE, or at least some of them, as those DOGE dollars may soon be headed for your bank account. President Trump floating a plan that would use some of the department's savings to help pay down America's debt and have more go directly to the taxpayers. Let's bring in our panel. Former Biden White House Director Message Planning, Megan Hayes.
Man, very, very interesting. It's so funny they keep using this picture of Kash Patel. The picture where he looks most intense, most Indian, most just everything. Like, there's so many better pictures of Kash Patel, and they all use this one. But do you guys want the $5,000, or would you rather it go to the national debt? I think it has to be both. I like that they're starting to lay out a plan. At first, there wasn't a plan of like, how is this gonna work? They were just like, we're gonna just give money to people. But if they're paying off the debt and giving people money, I think that's fine, as long as they're actually paying off the debt. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's great. If they're on course, because what DOGE has to do, they have to actually bring down the national debt by $2 trillion, I believe, by 2026. Okay? That's what they have to do by 2026. So if they're on course to do that, and they can give people $5,000 checks. Also, you think black people love Trump off of those stimulus checks? What were those, $1,200? Oh, you think they love the men? Oh God. Oh, wait till they get $5,000. That's it. That's it. You're gonna see the same way you see Tupac murals in the hood. You're gonna see Donald Trump murals. 1,000,000%. No doubt in my mind, that's what you're going to see. It's going to be great. They're going to love him forever. People are going to cry when he leaves. He leaves out. Third term, if that pops up, like FDR, buddy, black people are going to be like, bring that third term. Bring that third term. Bring him in for that third term immediately. First Republican or Democrat, first president in U.S. history to receive 100% of the black vote. This is very odd. What do you think that could be from? I have no idea, Mika. That's oh man, buddy, it's gonna be crazy. But this dude right here, he was on CNN, and they kind of got into it, and I want to see if I can find it. What's this guy's name? James Fishback. Okay, fine. CNN James Fishback. I can't be his real name. All the DOGE guys use fake names. They're like, hi, I'm Big Balls. I'm Fishback. Who has it? Who's using it? Who's using it? This is creative black conservative perspective. All right, let's go black conservative perspective. Oh, somebody else has it here too. Oh, they're just playing the clip. I got to go with this one then.
Don't spend that DOGE dividend quite yet. I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia. DOGE, they say they're about to show us the money. The Department of Government Efficiency, led by Elon Musk, is claiming to have saved taxpayers approximately $55 billion through various cost-cutting measures. They're breaking down how they claim they're doing it on the department's website. For example, just yesterday, DOGE published its latest cost-cutting measure. They say that it resulted in a value of up to $235 million in savings. It's also pointing out wasteful spending with posts like this, showing how taxpayers spent over $20 million on a boarded-up building over the course of 20 years. There's also a wall of receipts listing savings on the website detailing canceled contracts and terminated leases as part of the department's, they say, transparency initiative. And now there's a new potential layer to these DOGE savings that's gaining steam across social media to give us some of that money back. It's called the DOGE dividend, and it was explained in a 4-page plan.
All right, I know Michael Schmermick or whatever his name is talking here, but I want to go right to the exchange with Fishback. So here's Schmermish and Fishback having a conversation here. These names are just made up. It's ridiculous. Says the guy named Coach. Anyway, let's get into this.
Victoria, the originator of the DOGE dividend. James, thank you for being here. How did this all come to pass?
Well, good morning, Michael. To tell you the truth, it came to me in a dream. I woke up, I called our head of research at Azoria, we met at Capitol Grill, we fleshed this thing out in 2 hours, and I'm honored that the president has endorsed it. This is a real plan to send the savings that DOGE generates over the next couple of years right back into the pockets of hardworking Americans all across this country. They deserve it. It was their money in the first place, and they need a break.
Okay, I'm all for ridding the government of waste, fraud, and abuse. But at some level, isn't it all illusory? In other words, if there's a quote-unquote savings made by Elon Musk and DOGE, we're still $36 trillion in debt. So there's no pie to cut up. There's no slice of the pizza that I can hand back to you unless we continue to borrow those funds.
Our plan's really simple. Over the next couple of years, DOGE will save a set amount of money. We're going to take 20% of that and put it right back in the hands of taxpayers. The other 80, as President Trump has pointed out, will go back to paying down the debt and narrowing the deficit. Here's the truth, Michael. For every $5 that DOGE saves, as we believe calculated by the Congressional Budget Office, when this whole project is said and done next summer, for every $5, $1 goes back to the pockets of American taxpayers. Here's why. They sent their money to D.C. to be spent in America, not to be abused, not to be disrespected, and not to be defrauded. That $20 million to Iraqi Sesame Street, that money sent for a transgender opera in Colombia, all at the same time, Michael, that we have roads and bridges crumbling. We're losing 900 Americans every day to deaths of despair, alcoholism, and suicide. 8 out of 10 black American fourth graders are not even reading at grade level. This is pathetic. The Americans sent their money to be spent in America. They were defrauded. They were lied to. They now deserve restitution. And the second point that President Trump, just one sec, Michael, the second point that President Trump brought up on Air Force One is that these DOGE dividends will incentivize Americans to report waste, fraud, and abuse in their own community. Why? Why? Because the more that DOGE saves, the bigger their DOGE dividend check will be. Remember, in economics, show me the incentive and I'll show you the outcome. We're giving every American...
I'm going to get to the economics. Come on, I gave you a chance for a great sound bite. You got and those soft power exercises make for great sound bites, but when you drill down, for example, on Sesame Street in Iraq, they often make sense. Joseph Nye from Harvard, who gets credited with the coinage of the word soft power, you'd rather spend on that than bullets. But wait, you want to talk about
there was
the
a terrorist attack in Iraq last month that killed 40 people. It's clearly not working. Soft power and Sesame Street are not working. If there are terrorists, we need to kill the terrorists. We don't need to fund Big Bird and Elmo.
Maybe the terrorist would have been better off watching Big Bird than learning in a madrasa. Let me make my point.
There you go. There you go. That's prime CNN. That's prime CNN right there, people. I don't know if you caught it. I don't know if you caught it. That's prime CNN. That right there is what CNN is all about. Okay? Maybe he would have been better off watching Big Bird. Man. Schmermish making great points here. Are you kidding me? Look at Fishback. He's dumbfounded. He doesn't he doesn't even know what to say. He's like, Is this guy effing kidding me right now? I'm crying. I'm crying. Oh my god. Nobody, you know what CNN is? See, no one told you that CNN's actually a comedy. No, I'm crying. I'm crying right now. Oh, I'm gonna play it again. Oh my gosh.
People, it's clearly not working. Soft power and Sesame Street are not working. If there are terrorists, we need to kill the terrorists. We don't need to fund Big Bird and Elmo.
Maybe the terrorist would have been better off watching Big Bird than learning in a madrasa. Let me make my point. Put on the screen from the Peterson Foundation. This is where the rubber meets the road. We are $36 trillion in debt. I don't know if you can see that, but that's $106,121 for every single person in America. So if Elon Musk is successful in saving us money from waste, fraud, and abuse, and by the way, James, I hope that he is. I don't like the approach, but I like the fact that something's being done. There is no money in the till. We owe $36 trillion. We owe $106,000 each. So whatever the savings ought to be, it's not like President Trump's doing us a favor by giving us 20%. Everything ought to go to the debt because the Peterson.
If you live in Kensington and Philadelphia and you're not addicted to drugs and you got young kids, that $5,000 would do a lot for you. If you live in Youngstown, that'd do a whole lot for you out in the Appalachian Mountains. 5,000 to do a lot for you, man. 5,000. Me and my buddy were just talking about this. Man, moderator actually. 5,000 could change some people's lives, man. Like this tattoo. I have like a huge mushroom wild tattoo all through here, and it was this dude who did it. He was in Hawaii when I got it done. I was in Hawaii. Wild story. A friend of mine became a millionaire and he just started traveling and wanted us next to him. It was crazy. But the dude was from South Central LA. He started tattooing. He saved up enough money, which was around, just enough for Hawaii. It's expensive, right? So he saved up this money and he went over to Hawaii and he completely left the gangs. But he had to go far because the gangs don't exactly just want you to leave. So he just had to kind of do it. I don't know, man. $5,000 can change a lot of things for you, man. There's a lot of people right now, $5,000 debt, it's holding them down, garnishing wages, this, that. Could change a lot. Man. I mean, there's this woman in Houston, because I'm really into real estate. There's this woman in Houston. She specializes in duplexes. But it's like a townhouse. It's like a plot of land and it's a townhouse, right? So there's one unit and another unit and they're side by side, right? So the wall's connected there. And the down payment for it, you can do an FHA loan as a U.S. citizen. You're entitled to that. You can pay a very low percentage down, but the down payment's like $12,000. And then you could live in one, pay the rent there because you'd pay rent anyway, right? And then you can rent the other one out. If you wanted to. I'm just saying, like, there's just money gives people options. And right now, a lot of people are stressed and they don't have options. So the 5,000 could do a lot. I can see both. I can see definitely you should pay your debts, obviously, but also $5,000 could do things for people, and for millionaires, because this guy is a millionaire, for him to act like, oh, what's the big deal? What do you need that for? You don't really know what you're talking about,
People say by 2050, 50% of all revenue is going to go to satisfying interest on the debt. We should be paying the debt. Your response?
My response is this. We should be paying the debt, which is why the DOGE dividend incentivizes every American to call out waste, fraud, and abuse, to lower the budget, to narrow the deficit, and to bring down the debt. Where was this emergency over the debt when we sent $350 billion to Ukraine to be wasted? Where was this emergency, Michael, on CNN when you guys were advocating $7,000 to migrants in Chicago? $7,000 a month per migrant, and now we want to spend $5,000 one time from President Trump to hardworking Americans. The migrants didn't deserve $7,000 a month. Hardworking Americans deserve a $5,000 check with President Trump's name on it. So enough with the double standard.
I will say this. New York revealed that they spent $7 billion on illegal immigrants. Eric Adams revealed that $7 billion on illegal immigrants. $7 billion. This guy's like laughing it up, like, like it's just a talking point. There's a lot of money spent on, way more spent on illegal immigrants than were spent on vets. You know, I don't know, man. Yeah, the guy, the fishback here, making his Donald Trump face right now. Huge savings. He's making a good point. Schmermish doesn't know what he's talking about here.
Ukraine did not deserve $350 billion.
Okay, listen to me. Listen to me. This is Madoff-like. This is a Ponzi scheme.
No, Ukraine was a Ponzi scheme. The migrant funding was a Ponzi scheme. Hard-working Americans deserve a break.
James,
it was their money, Michael. It was their money.
James, give me a chance to speak. Theoretically, it's my program. We don't have the money, is what I'm trying to tell you. It's a Ponzi.
So we didn't have the money for Ukraine, right? We didn't have the money for Ukraine. $350 billion.
I never do this. I don't want to be that guy. Do I have to silence your microphone so that I can respond to what you've said? Because there's so much fallacy in what you've just offered.
Please go ahead and refute it.
I have a very simple premise here. We're $36 trillion in debt. It's a fraud. As much as I want to see us cut waste, fraud, and abuse, it is an absolute fraud to say to the American people, because of what Musk is doing, we have $5 grand to give each of you. The only way we have $5 grand is if we're borrowing it, because we're that far in debt. I'm trying to meet you halfway, which is simply to say, what a good thing that finally we're going to look at waste, fraud, and abuse, albeit it shouldn't be in this haphazard fashion. But let's at least be honest with the American people that whatever we quote unquote save, we already owe. Now I'm going to give you 30 seconds to respond, and then I'm going to say, see you later. Go ahead.
Michael, let me say this. We're fellow Americans. We care about this issue, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on this program, but I got to speak truth here. At the end of the day, we have got to send the money back that is saved, just 20% of it. The other 80% goes down to paying the national debt and narrowing the deficit. To your point, yes, there has been a fraud against the American people, the Green New Scam, Ukraine, the migrant crisis. Their taxpayer dollars were sent abroad, were not sent at home, were not spent in America, not on healthcare, not on education. That ends with President Trump's leadership today. He is delivering on his promise of major government reform, Michael. The DOGE dividend plan is bold, and Americans support it.
All right, I'm calling time on all of that. I appreciate your being here. I think we've each, I hope, made our respective points. Thank you.
Well, there you go, Schmermish getting heated here about to turn off Fishback's microphone. Jeez, this is actually on the Schmermish channel. If you want to follow Michael Schmermish, Schmermkomish. If you want to follow him. Weird that he has his own channel, but he's on CNN. Are you allowed to do that? Why don't they all have their own channels? That's very weird. Does Anderson Cooper have his own channel? What's it filled with? Absolute nonsense? Anderson Cooper? Anderson Cooper? Does he have his own channel? What's it filled with? Let me see it. He doesn't have his own channel. So why is Schmermish special? Why does Schmermish get this special treatment? Anderson Cooper's a Vanderbilt. He doesn't talk about that much anymore. He's like, I'm a Vanderpump, and he's like, I'm a Vanderbilt, and I told my mom I don't want any of the money. Okay. Okay, Vanderbilt. What, is your family worth $1 trillion? Sure, buddy. Anyway, off topic. But what's going on with the debt versus what's going on with giving people money? I don't know. Like I said, like the guy's making a good case. He's saying, oh, shoot, am I muted? What are you doing? What are you doing? That's a serious threat. Mute your mic. What are you talking about? Stop it. Jesus, people scare the hell out of me. You scare the hell out of me when you do stuff like that. But it seems like what Fishback is saying is that there's money to go towards the debt and there's money to go to the people. And the people deserve the money because they need this relief and they need to actually feel that something's happening. I think that's true. I think people will start to, as soon as you get some money, you'll kind of be like, okay, okay, so there's things happening here. Whereas if they just keep on telling you all the time, oh yeah, we're saving, but you still feel stressed and you're still going through the hardships that you're going through, you know, it doesn't really work out that well. It just, if no matter what, it'll feel like more of the same, right? So I think, and also I think this $5,000, although I'm like, yeah, you know, go towards the debt. This $5,000 speaks to what Trump has been doing the whole time. You know, it goes right back to Trump has been about the people. He really has. And I know people always make the argument that he's all for himself, egotistical, blah, blah, blah. He's somebody who would do this. When he had the opportunity before, he did it. He has an opportunity to do it again. He's going to do it. And I think people are actually going to see those checks. A lot of people, even Asman was talking about like, oh, people aren't going to see those checks. I think they are. I think those checks are going to go out. I think you have an advisor here, Mr. Fishback, along with Musk. They're both saying that this is a possibility. They're both saying that this should happen. President Trump is open to it happening. I don't actually see why it wouldn't. This isn't something, I don't think that this is something that Congress is allowed to block. I don't think anybody can stop this from happening if Trump chooses to send this money. I could be wrong, but I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking there. And I could be wrong, but I am a political expert. I mean, I have clips. I have clips here, okay, guys? Been doing this for about 2.5 hours. I think I know a little something about politics. No, I'm kidding. You know, I used to know nothing about politics, and I used to know nothing about computers. So if you ever want to get into stuff, you should, because you don't need to know all that much. I know that sounds crazy, but you really don't. German chairman cries? I think I pulled that up before. Let me see this. Why did he cry? Because J.D. Vance?
After the speech of Vice President Vance on Friday, we have to fear that our common value base is not that common anymore. I'm very grateful to all those European politicians that spoke out and reaffirmed the values and principles that they are defending. No one did this better than President Zelenskyy. Let me conclude, and this becomes difficult.
Yeah, I just want to conclude. This very much becomes difficult because, you know, I just thought the Americans would be okay with the kicking the door in and arresting citizens for tweets. The tweets that are hurtful, yeah. And it seems J.D. Vance comes in with his perfect beard and he tells me he doesn't like this anymore. President Trump doesn't like this anymore, yeah. It's very, very hard to hear. They want us all to hold elections. This is not what I got into politics for, yeah? Yeah, okay, buddy. I'll tell you, J.D. Vance came in there. J.D. Vance came in there like a polite bulldozer. And he was like, I don't know why we're giving you money. He's like, and I'm doing all I can to hold back President Trump. But if President Trump has to come here, guys, if you see him on this stage, you're going to become a state. If he has to come here, you're all going to become states. And I know you think it's not possible, but I'm telling you, our military is massive. You'll all become states. You'll have people from Minnesota moving in here. I'm telling you guys, I'm trying to do what's best for you. You will all become states of America right behind Canada. You have no idea what he says to me in private. I'm trying to help you guys. He has I'm not going to call the guy a dictator. We'll just call him president, prime minister, whatever he is of Germany. Has him crying. Man. And then he says Zelenskyy showed this the best. Zelensky's not having elections, man. Just putting it out there. Oh, moving on. Oh, I forgot to say moving on. My bad. Sorry. Sorry. But yeah, Zelensky's not having elections, man. And now because he doesn't, and you know why Zelensky's saying, "Oh, this was a grant," because he doesn't know where the money is. That's why. Or he does, and it's just been moved around too much. So now he's just like, I can't pay it back. We'll see what happens. If they have to pay it back. The thing is, they might end up, because I think they just signed a mineral deal. They have like these amazing minerals, apparently, in the soil of Ukraine. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like, apparently, that's the best place to grow certain things, which is one of the reasons why Putin wants it so bad. That's just what I've overheard in my researches. But apparently there's been some kind of deal signed, and America will get their money back through that deal eventually, you know? Ukraine's like that friend who just borrows all this money, and you're like, bro, did you got it? And he's like, oh, what? Huh? What? No, what money? Bro, I gave you $200. 200? What? No, because my birthday was 6 months ago, and when you gave me the money yesterday, I thought that was a birthday present. That wasn't a birthday present? Half was a birthday present? I don't know, man. I got 42 cents right now. I got 42 cents. I'll have the rest later. I got a job yesterday, and I quit, but I got another one coming, trust me. And yeah, I'll have it soon. And then you're like, well, now you got to work for me. And it's like Seinfeld. Now he has to be your butler, and he's stealing stuff from your house. Yeah, can't trust him. I'm just saying. Moving on. What else I got going here? Oh, I actually wanted to find more clips for this. This guy right here, Stephen Miller. This guy's a beast. Hold on a second. Let's play this. Hold on. This dude is a beast. Hold on a second. Let me pull up another. I'm just going to find more clips while this clip is playing, because this guy right here is something else. Let me just play this really quick.
Many of the people in this room for 4 years failed to cover the fact that Joe Biden was mentally incompetent and was not running the country. It is also true that many people in this room who have used this talking point that Elon is not elected fail to understand how government works. So I'm glad for the opportunity for a brief civics lesson. A president is elected by the whole American people. He's the only official in the entire government that is elected by the entire nation, right? Judges are appointed, members of Congress are elected at the district or state level, just one man. And the Constitution, Article 2, has a clause known as the vesting clause, and it says the executive power shall be vested in a president, singular. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff to then impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, indeed the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenured civil servants who believe they answer to no one, who believe they can do whatever they want without consequence, who believe they can set their own agenda no matter what Americans vote for. So Americans vote for radical FBI reform, and FBI agents say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote for radical reform on our energy policies, but EPA bureaucrats say they don't want to change. Or Americans vote to end DEI, racist DEI policies, and lawyers at the Department of Justice say they don't want to change. What President Trump is doing is he is removing federal bureaucrats who are defying democracy by failing to implement his lawful orders, which are the will of the whole American people.
This guy right here, he's something else. Let me pull up a couple more clips of this guy. I love this dude. Somebody said this guy for president. Maybe he doesn't play around at all. Not even remotely does this guy play around. Here, let's play this one.
You
Resources.
You say that you're looking at widespread fraud in the IRS data, and You mentioned yesterday, and you mentioned again here, illegal immigrants who are getting child tax credits. Are you looking for that information in the IRS data?
Anytime a crime is committed, of course there should be an investigation. Is it your position that if somebody who is
Stephen,
here
are you looking for
criminally
that
is stealing
information in the
taxpayer
IRS
dollars,
data?
the federal government will find every illegal alien who is stealing American taxpayer dollars, and that is what Americans
will you
expect
find that
to
in
happen.
the IRS
I don't
data
even
and share
fathom the
that with
premise
law
of your
enforcement?
question.
It's a simple question. Will
Anyone
you find that
who is-
information in the IRS data and
If-
share that with law
if
enforcement?
IRS investigators find illegal aliens stealing taxpayer money, of course they'll be referred to ICE. Of course they'll be referred to Homeland Security investigations. Of course it will be. Surely your position is not that we should let illegal aliens steal taxpayer dollars. Again, you want to talk about something to be upset about, that's it. What do you think? The millions of illegal aliens who've also stolen Social Security. Illegal aliens in mass have fake Social Security numbers. They have fake identities. Those are felonies. Why should there be an entire class in this country that is immunized from criminal prosecution and arrest for committing felonies? Felony theft of taxpayer information, felony theft of Social Security, felony theft of identity. These are all crimes. And yes, they will be investigated. Yes, they will be prosecuted. And yes, illegal aliens will be deported. And you know what happens when those deportations occur?
Just very quickly,
is that
Stephen,
Americans will get jobs, Americans will
they
get
got a
benefits,
child-
Americans will get houses.
Stephen, if they got a credit, a child tax credit, and they will be referred, you're saying, to ICE for that, and you would expect deported for that? Is that the position of the administration?
If it is found that a crime has been committed, they'll be referred. If it justifies the prosecution, they'll be prosecuted. If it justifies the deportation, they will be deported. This will be based on existing IRS protocols and procedures for criminal investigation and fraud.
All right,
the difference is that no one is given immunity anymore. No one is given permission to break the law anymore. Because this is not a country, this is not a sovereign territory, if illegal aliens can freely steal billions, with a B, billions of taxpayer dollars. And I would have to imagine that CNN, which is endlessly talked about the importance of democracy and the rule of law, would say that no class in this country should be above the law, least of all illegal aliens who've trespassed on our territory.
No, Stephen, I'm just asking, I wanted to get your position on some things. We're not taking a position here. We wanted to get some answers to some questions. There are so many questions that need to be answered.
It doesn't sound to me
Miller,
like you are, in
thank
fact,
you.
indifferent or unbiased on these questions, but thank you.
Stephen Miller, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Wow. Trump has other people to just dice people up nowadays. It used to just be him. It was just him back in the day, just handling things. You know, Stephen Miller is still around, of course, but now you got a bunch. You got JD Vance, you got Stephen Miller. Wow, man. You got Elon Musk. Even Elon Musk is like, well, let me handle this. Let me get a chainsaw on the stage of CPAC. Stephen Miller. What else we got with Stephen Miller? Let me see this. Let me see this real quick.
This country has ever seen. The reason why those Americans in North Carolina, those mothers, those fathers, those precious little children were left to die, were left on rooftops begging their government for help that never came, is because Kamala Harris turned FEMA into an illegal alien resettlement agency. Its manpower, its dollars, its resources, its mental energy was spent over the last 4 years learning how to do one thing, how to get illegal aliens from outside the country into your town. And so when disaster struck, they were not ready, they were not prepared, they were not capable, and they did not care. And our fellow citizens, including babies, children, young kids, were left to suffer and drown. They did not scramble the helicopters. They did not scramble the military. They did not send needed assistance. But if those children had been living in a foreign country, they've been living in Haiti, or they've been living in Venezuela, why then Kamala Harris would have sent in help immediately. A betrayal like we've never seen before, Sean. This is infuriating.
This guy, I'm telling you, this guy, I just want to watch clips of this guy all day. Stephen Miller goes, Look, I even typed it in. The first thing that pops up is Stephen Miller shreds. That's the first thing that pops up. What else we got on the? Everybody went for this clip. Wolf Blitzer? Did he dice up Wolf Blitzer? Oh, come on. He's an old guy.
Are you talking to Democrats right now to come up with a compromise before midnight tomorrow night?
The Democrats, all they need to do is support border security, and the government will be funded. But that barrier that we're talking about is what the Border Patrol
The Democrats support border security. They don't support $5 billion for a wall.
Could you identify, Wolf, for me some of the kinds of border security you're saying the Democrats
The Democrats all say they support border security.
Like what?
Where they,
don't, well,
where
with
they
all due
disagree
respect,
with
Wolf,
you
they
is
voted
building a
against
wall.
Kate's law. They voted against ending sanctuary cities. They voted against deporting MS-13 gang members. They voted against deporting violent criminals. They voted time and time again against a physical border wall to stop illegal entry. I mean, where is the evidence that you keep asserting they're for border security? They haven't been. They oppose closing loopholes for asylum that flood our system with meritless claims.
I want to move on to another sensitive issue.
They oppose ending catch and release.
Are you talking?
Jeez. You did that to Wolf Blitzer? This guy has no mercy. Wolf Blitzer has had gray hair for the past 50 years. Yeah. Take it easy on Wolf. Come on.
Life of Larry, in my entire life of working on this issue, studying this issue, spending time with our ICE agents, our Border Patrol agents, I never, in my worst nightmare, could imagine a day when I would be sitting here talking to you about a government releasing 425,000 convicted criminal aliens into the country, including 13,000 homicide cases and 15,000 rape cases. In any other government, in any other country, it would sink that government. In Canada, in the UK, in France, in Italy, in any of those countries, a government that released half that many, a quarter that many, an eighth that many, they would all be forced to resign. And their party wouldn't be returned to power for at least a decade or more. The only reason Kamala Harris is able to even continue running after a bombshell like this is because she is protected by the legacy media. There is no defending a scandal of this magnitude.
Jeez. You know, the person who whoever said that in the chat, whoever said him for president, that might happen one day. I don't know, because I won't say you don't need much, but someone said, what's his last name? Miller, Stephen Miller. I don't know. You don't need much. You need policy. You need good people around you. But when it comes to the debate stage and the talking, and you just need to be fiery, and you need to have your points, and you need to be able to combat people verbally, like JD does, like we've seen Trump effortlessly do, you know. And this guy has that. Now, I don't know much else about him other than, you know, what I've just seen, but you never know. Crazier things have happened. And you know what? I want to keep watching Stephen Miller. I actually do. No, I can't. Moving on. We got to move on. Someone just hit me with a breaking story. Shout out to... Oh, he deleted it? No, he didn't delete it. Okay, let's see here. What's this about? Breaking news. Let's see this.
The migrant facility.
Eric Adams is closing this migrant facility. And by migrant facility, I mean the Roosevelt Hotel. Check this out.
Breaking news, Mayor Eric Adams says he is shutting down the city's migrant facility at Manhattan's Roosevelt Hotel.
Since 2023, the Roosevelt Hotel has served as an arrival center for migrants seeking asylum in the city. Alan Devlin is live outside the Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown. Alan?
Sydney and Mary, it's an iconic Midtown hotel that's been around for about 100 years. And like you just said, it's been serving as a center for asylum seekers for the past 2 years. The mayor came out this morning and announced that will happen no more. This hotel shutting down for good. The hotel first opened to migrants back in 2023 during the height of the migrant crisis back in that year, with the city receiving up to 4,000 migrants a week. We all remember these images you're looking at right now out of that year, showing the vast number of migrants awaiting their next step here at the Roosevelt Hotel. In total, about 232,000 migrants have entered the city seeking shelter, and the Roosevelt Hotel was the front door for about 75% of them, this according to city officials. Now, in a video message released here this morning, Mayor Adams looked to the future while touting the city's efforts to bring and keep the crisis under control in the last 2 years.
Now, thanks to our policies,
we're down to an average of just 350 new arrivals each week. And while we're not done caring for those who came into our care, today marks another milestone in demonstrating the immense progress we have achieved in turning the corner on the unprecedented international humanitarian effort.
You heard it there, 4,000 down to about 350, says the mayor. Now, this all comes as Eric Adams remains at the center of a battle between New York City, New York State, and the White House, with some accusing the mayor of arranging a quid pro quo with the Trump administration to get his corruption charges dismissed in exchange for his cooperation with federal immigration enforcement here in New York City. Mayor Adams, however, strongly denies those claims. It is important to note that all of the activity, the facilities that were happening here at the Roosevelt Hotel over my shoulder, are going to continue to happen here in New York City. They just won't be happening here at this physical location. The mayor made it clear that they will be spreading out these efforts to other facilities around the New York City area. But right now, we're live in Midtown Manhattan. Alan Devlin, CBS News, New York.
Alan.
Wow. Wow. About time. Honestly, I mean, it's weird because he's announcing that he's closing it, but also Elon Musk and DOGE, they just uncovered that USAID tried to push through, I think it was 58 or $53 million to the Roosevelt Hotel, which is owned by Pakistan. So it just looked terrible, right? So you're sending money to Pakistan basically, but it's to the hotel. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Plausible deniability, in my opinion, but when that money didn't go through to USAID, or when USAID got their purse strings cut, that money couldn't go there. So now he's announcing that he's closing it. Is he just taking credit because it was going to happen anyway? I wonder. Or was he involved, or could he have pushed through something to make it happen even still? I wonder. I'm not 100% sure. You know, not fully trusting of Eric Adams. I mean, buddy, the guy was like, hey, you know, we're gonna have these robot police here. Hey, you know, you guys should stop eating beef so much. You should all go vegan in New York. And Eric was like, what in the F are you talking about? And he's like, I've been vegan. I feel great. You know, you don't really need gas stoves, do you? Like he had 10 months of just terrible things. He just kept rolling them out. Robot police, maybe less gas stoves. You guys should become vegan. This is a sanctuary city. Send them all over here. And then he ended it with, hey, this is all going to destroy this city. It was like, what? You did this. We watched you. We all watched you do this, Eric. And he's like, I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're saying right now. I had nothing to do with this. This is because of Greg Abbott. But you took them all in. I know, but I just don't want any more. This is going to destroy us. Let me just see if Kathy Hochul is actually thinking of firing this guy. That's what I heard recently. Let's see this. Pat Bondi, governor suggesting corrupt, blah, 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 blah.
Said about the dropping of the charge.
Let me see what this clip is here. But apparently Kathy Hochul, who's the governor of New York, is considering firing Eric Adams because she doesn't like the stuff that he's doing, like closing the Roosevelt.
Last question for you, because it's getting a lot of attention,
right,
at least here in New York. The governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, very upset about the dropping of the charges against Eric Adams, saying that the internals of the case were not properly reviewed. This is what she said last night to Rachel Maddow. Watch.
You look at what happened here. This is not supposed to happen in our system of justice. The Bondi administration in that Department of Justice is already showing they're corrupt.
I want to give you a chance to respond to those suggestions, Pam.
Yeah, well, first, she's not very happy that I sued her yesterday. We sued her and Letitia James and DMV in New York. So she's not happy over that. We sued her 2 days ago, actually. So she's not happy about that. But listen, we have a right to protect the weaponization against weaponization in New York and every state in this country, and also national security. What did Eric Adams announce today? That he's going to open Rikers Island for these illegal immigrants. When did they go after him? When he started criticizing the Biden administration. He criticized them for all of their immigration practices. New Yorkers aren't safe, and Eric Adams is going to keep New York safe. You know, they took away his security clearance, which he's about to get back, so he can help keep New York safe. Whether Kathy Hochul's going to enforce it, the mayor of New York will enforce it.
So at this point, though, the case has not been dropped, actually, because of this pushback. What happens in that?
Yeah, Martha, I'm on a different time zone, but it's my understanding it is being dismissed today.
Okay, we'll be watching. Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Wow. So that's very interesting. You know, so Eric Adams, I love that Pam Bondi just said this, because if you said that before, you know, when did they go after him? Just as he was doing this, that was like, oh, that's tinfoil Speedo talk. Oh, what do you want, those tinfoil people? That's exactly what that is. But to hear the Attorney General actually saying it, beautiful. I love it. I love the age that we're in. We're in the age of tinfoil, ladies and gentlemen. Be proud. Be proud to have ushered yourselves into the age of tinfoil, where tinfoil has become respected as a precious metal, as it always has been. But it's very interesting to see that Kathy Hochul is trying to stand against the Trump administration, while Eric Adams is actually being like, hey, I'll do whatever you need to do. And people, you know, they're saying it's a, what is it called? Quid pro quo? Quid pro quo? Is that, I'm saying it completely wrong. You know what I mean, though. And yeah, it probably is. Trump's like, we're going to make sure you don't go to jail. Can you help us with the immigration? Isn't that normal? Is that crazy? Is that corruption? I don't understand. Is that corruption? That seems pretty normal. Hey, man, they were going to put you in jail unjustly, and we're just going to make sure that they don't do that. So can you help us with the immigrants? Because we just want ICE to come in. Can you do that? That makes perfect sense. I don't know. Is he not supposed to do that? Is he supposed to be like, he's supposed to, it seems like people, especially on the left, are thinking he's supposed to be like, F you, Trump, send me to jail. Like, what? What? Are you crazy? That's insane. This guy can, if he does this, and he does it properly, and people see Kathy trying to work against the good that Trump is trying to do right now, he could step into being governor one day with this whole thing. There's a lot of people on the right who will look at, again, the right is very, very, very forgiving. I said this again. I said this on this live already. They'll look at everything he's done, and they'll see the good that he's trying to do now, and they'll be like, okay, he's even talking about becoming a Republican. Let's see what this clip here is. Somebody saying she's too scared to remove him.
After careful consideration, I have determined that I will not commence removal proceedings at this time. My strong belief is that the will of the voters and the supremacy and sanctity of democratic elections preclude me from any other action. I cannot deny the people of this great city the power to make this decision for themselves. And to those who conclude this decision is due to pressure from many groups or individuals, I say this: you do not know me. Constant pressure is what I deal with all day long, and it's absolutely no bearing on any decisions I make. I will say this.
You don't know me. I'm the governor that introduced thousands of black children to computers and the word computers. I brought them technology that they had not seen before. I brought them iPhones. I'm a god to these people. You don't know me. She'll never live that down. Not with me, at least. What was I going to look into afterwards? Eric Adams getting removed. Stephen Miller. So yeah, I guess Eric Adams is doing his thing. Good for him. Good. That's so necessary. Should I follow her? Nah, I'm not gonna follow her. I don't need to see her. Actually, you know what? Let's see her stuff. I sometimes I like to see the brainwashing, because I got a pretty good tinfoil shield up for the brainwashing. So sometimes when they put it out there, like I started following Adam Schmidt, and I was like, wow, look at this guy. I can't believe what this guy's trying to pass off on people. Made a whole video about it. He's not getting me. That guy doesn't even look trustworthy. You know what I mean? I mean, to get off topic, he doesn't even look trustworthy. You know? Let's jump over here. Let me see what I got in here. We're almost 3 hours in. I gotta wrap it up. But I got a couple of Trump clips here. I want to see what this is about. Shout out to Hank. Thank you for sending me these clips here. Definitely want to see what you got going on here. What did you send me here? What is this?
But we cannot stop now. We're going to push forward every single day. In the immortal words of that great American hero, Captain John Paul Jones, I have not yet begun to fight. And neither have you.
Moving on. Sorry, forgot.
So together for the next 4 years, we are going to stand strong. We are going to work hard. We are going to fight, 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 and win, win, win. But we cannot stop.
Man, Trump at CPAC. I got a, next live, I think I'm going to find the whole talk that he did. Maybe I'll try and find some highlights so I don't have you guys sitting through the whole thing. I notice a lot of streamers have people sit through the whole thing. And it's a good way to, do some time while streaming, I guess. I don't know. Because this is a relatively short time, 3 hours. A lot of streamers will do they'll do hours upon hours upon hours. And it's got a notification. Who is by my house? Who is this by my... Anyway. Oh, it's my delivery. Okay. We're all good. But yeah, a lot of streamers, they're showing you the whole thing, It's a bit much. So I'm going to try and find some highlights. We'll try. But we'll see. Maybe I'll just get sucked into it. Maybe there's a reason they do that. I don't know. I don't know. You think people who do this stuff, you think they know everything about the thing they're doing. They don't. They're just learning as they go. You could too if you wanted to, It's not too hard to do what I'm doing. Message me. I'll tell you how to do it. I tell it to people all the time. I'll show you what to do. I can't do it for you, but I'll show you what to do, what to use. Anyway, I think we're good. I think we're good now. It's been 3 hours. I said I would go for 3 hours. And the thing is, for whoever's watching this still, and let's jump into the chat here. I might as well do that too. Gavin went trans. He could. Wonderful head of hair he's got. Me and the wife got tinfoil bodysuits on. That's dedication. See, that's the dedication you need. You know what I mean? You don't want to get taken in by anybody. Trump is the savior. 3 hours, LOL. He was in his bag for that speech. He was 100%. He was, but he's in his bag for every speech. There's rarely a speech where he isn't just amazing. But that at the end, I have yet to even begin to fight. Whew, okay. What else does this guy have? He basically said the best is yet to come. But when it comes to the lives, for those of you that are still here, I'm going to try and do this. I'm thinking Monday to Friday. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see how that actually works out because I still have another channel, right? So right now I actually have to go and make videos for another channel. And I have to see how that goes. Because I have to stand up right now because it's crazy to sit down. How do these guys do this? How do these guys do that? How do you sit down for 3 hours? This is crazy, But I'm gonna do it more. I'm hoping. I haven't locked in a schedule yet. I haven't locked in a time schedule in terms of what time it's gonna be. I haven't locked in a day schedule in terms of what days it's gonna be. But the ideal was Monday to Friday, right? That's the ideal. But again, you don't know what you don't know until you start doing it, right? So I have to start doing it, see how it all feels, see what actually ends up happening. So there has to be that, right? Then I have to figure out the time, right? So I figured morning is not the best thing to do. I still have to do stand up and stuff. And that usually happens from 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You know, the rooms are usually around that time, and I want to be able to do that. So it might end up being like a 6 to 9 type of thing, or it might be a 5 to 8, or, you know, like I did today, 4 to 7 type of thing. We just have to gauge it. I have to see what works best for my life, and also the moderators' lives, and also my family. So I'm just going to gauge all that, and slowly you'll start seeing it more. But the plan is to do this again tomorrow. I'm going to line up a bunch of stories. Maybe it won't be as long, but I want to do this again tomorrow and just start getting into the whole vibe of it, you know? So anyways, guys, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to sign off right now, man. It has been wonderful, and thank you guys for being here in case you didn't see it at the beginning. And other than that, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications. It helps the channel tremendously. And other than that, I'm out. Let's turn this. Okay.